Hello and welcome to a special edition of Riverside TV. I'm Nick Rice, that's Jeff Gorham. We're joining you from California School of the Deaf Riverside, home of the Cubs. This isn't 11-man football, this is 8-man football, but still the game we know and love.
I'll tell you what, 8-man football, if you haven't watched it, it is so much fun to watch. It's a lot like arena football where you're putting up a lot of points, the field is shorter, and it's a lot of fun, to say the least.
Well, the Cubs had a lot of fun over the last 2 years, making it to the state championship back-to-back years. It's been a down year in 2023, but this team is still very good.
Yeah, very young. They've had the injury bug hit them early. Caden Adams, the brother of the phenomenal All-American last year, who was the quarterback, who's now playing at Olivet University, he is at the helm, and I'll tell you what, he's averaging almost 199 yards by himself. He's going to have to carry the load most of today.
California School of the Deaf Riverside plays California School of the Deaf Fremont in an incredible matchup to close the preseason. We'll have kickoff coming up in just a moment. Another beautiful Saturday afternoon from right here in Riverside, California. Glad you're with us. I'm Nick Rice. That's Jeff Gorham. 82 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. Perfect football weather for this 8-man football game. The Cubs of Riverside, California School of the Deaf, and that of Fremont. Onside kick to begin the game, and that rolls out of bounds. Jeff, I mean, you're looking at the scene here, the wide shot. Just a great day for some 8-man football.
A little matinee football here at California School for the Deaf Riverside, the defending state champions of 8-man football here in California, playing against Fremont, California School for the Deaf Fremont. This is the battle for California, the two deaf schools in the state of California going head-to-head here at CSDR this afternoon.
And it's 8-man football. We'll give you the rules and what to expect in just a moment, but it really is an entertaining game, and we have the defending state champions in the California School of the Deaf Riverside on hand tonight. We're just about ready for kickoff. Jose Ceja Aguilar will get rid of it for the Cubs. I believe that onside kick was legal, so they're going to redo things 5 yards up. California School of the Deaf Riverside, California School of the Deaf Eagles of Fremont, California, near Oakland. It's pretty cool to see a school from out of town come here.
This is the state championship. Last week, CSDR went out to Maryland and took a defeat, but they were able to go out to Olivet University, where Coach Adams' son is a quarterback for that college back east. And there's another onside kick once again.
A tricky decision, and it looks like the Cubs recovered, and they do. Keith Adams, a pretty darn good coach in his own right, and he goes to the bag of tricks on the first play of the game.
Yeah, talking to Coach Adams before, he said, hey, I don't have a big team. I have, 25 guys to pick out of, 200 students in a high school, 80 of which are boys. And the thing is, he is a guy with a torn ACL, a couple broken bones, and it's the next man up. But you got to realize that the next man up might not be that next guy because it's such a small team. But Coach Adams happy with the progress that his team is making here in the preseason as they get ready for league play starting next week.
Number 5 for the Cubs of California School of the Deaf Riverside, a new signal caller for them for this year. That's Caden Adams, a 5'10 junior.
That's the son of Coach Adams. Very talented boys of his that have really turned this program into a fruitful barrel of fun. I tell you what, they're making movies about the team that won the state championship last year. They had a great year. The year before just came up a little short, but the redemption year definitely brought them notoriety and fame. Remember, they were the honorary captains at the Super Bowl this past year.
Right.
for the coin flip. So CSDR, I know Disney is working on making a movie about him.
Yeah, they've been on basically every TV platform out there. Adams pitches to Gio Visco, and he's run out of bounds. That is the first play of the game. We had plenty of penalties before we get this one started for California School to Deaf. Now, from that team that made it onto TV last year, a lot of these names you'll hear of today are unfamiliar from a year ago. By many accounts, 80-90% of their team, starting-wise, from last year is gone.
And 4 of those players from last year's team that won the state championship are playing college football on Saturdays, like I said, at Olivet University.
Just an incredible program and a great run for them in 2022. Not only winning the CIF title, but they did so in a landslide.
Those were video game numbers.
Right, absolutely. We'll see plenty of that today. Adams' pass is knocked down at the line of scrimmage and incomplete. Juan Barry Berlinski knocked that one away for the Eagles. California School of the Deaf Riverside won the game 80-26, the state title game over Faith Baptist.
And if you're watching 80, that sounds like it's a pretty normal score in 8-man football. You know, if you go back in the day and you used to watch the great quarterback for the Rams, it was
Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner was a arena football superstar, and I think that's why he became such a prolific passer, is playing his years in the Arena League a lot like this 8-man football.
In 8-man football, they do some pretty intricate formations, and they run a direct snap to Gio Visco, the listed athlete, and he is immediately taken down by Andres Salazar. But that is typical. I mean, they'll run just about anybody under center at a given moment, and that formation was pretty tricky, like a wildcat formation of sorts.
Yeah, and think of it this way. The field is 80 yards long and I believe 40 yards wide, so it's a little shorter, and there isn't much of a kicking game. You're not going to see a lot of punts. You're going to see a lot of 4 and out, 4 and ins, 4 outs. I mean, they do not punt or kick for the most part, and they get after it.
In fact, Riverside's in danger of a 4 and out right now on 4th and 5. Visco's got it. He's under duress immediately, and Visco's taken down. Devin Thornton brings down the quarterback, and the Riverside Cubs couldn't take advantage of that onside kick.
And you look at Fremont coming in, averaging just, I think, at 53 points per ball game. CSDR just at 13.5 compared to last year, where I think they averaged over 60 a game.
57 points per game last year.
That's an amazing stat line. And this Fremont team likes to go to the run. Let's see if they go to it early here.
I mean, you'd never see that in any other form of football. Even in Pop Warner or Pee Wee, 57 a game is just incredible stuff.
Fun to watch. If you love watching teams score, you would enjoy today's game.
So it goes to show just how good that team was last year and the type of talent that's gone for 2023. The Eagle quarterback, Jaden Dingle, and they'll come out with the run, and the Cubs are ready for it. They had a gang of tacklers there, led by Xavier Gomboa, who plays both ways, not only as running back and linebacker, but for the Cubs, he is a two-sport athlete playing varsity wrestling, too, at CSDR. And you'll hear that from a lot of guys playing 2 or 3 sports here at CSDR. These are some of the best athletes on campus.
Yeah, I was talking to a couple employees here at CSDR, and they were telling me there's about 120 girls that go to school here at the high school level, and about 80 boys. So, every year is going to be a little different team that CSDR is going to have. And, they happen to catch lightning in a bottle the last couple of years with Coach Adams' incredible sons and the Valencia wide receiver. They've had some great athletes, and they play a lot of different sports here. It's not just football. They're multiple sport athletes.
Basketball, wrestling, baseball. And what's really cool, and I'm sure put a target on their back, is CSDR claimed after last year's state title loss that we have unfinished business, and they went around and finished that business, even though a lot of schools around the country, not just the state, were having an eye on beating that team, and very few of them even came close. An incredible season last year, 12-0. First pass of the game is wide of number 30, Devin Thornton. Jaden Dingle on the pass. The CSDF Fremont club comes in undefeated with an offense that's been rolling right now.
They won one game by forfeit, I believe, but the other two games they put up amazing numbers offensively.
270 yards a game for this offense. It's third and forever with penalties and big defensive plays pushing this team back. We're just underway in the first quarter, no score. Cubs went 4 and out off of an onside kick to begin the game. Looks like the offense is a little mixed in sorts right now. Dingle hands inside, and the fullback plunges his way near the marker. A gain of about 8 or 9 for Lucas Goj, number 34.
Goj, a big load there as you see him go right over the top.
Excellent play. Number 15, Darius Zaramka on the tackle. Very rarely will you see 8-man teams punt. We saw CSDR go for it on 4th down, and it looks like California School Deaf Fremont's going to do the same.
Yeah, everything is in 4-down territory in 8-man football. And everybody seems to elect to go for 2 after every touchdown, as you'll see.
Quarterback sneak, and Dingle motors to about the 30-yard line. This is going to be close. The officials are talking about it. Still no signal. And yes, they give him first down yardage to right at that 30-yard line. A strong run from Jaden Dingle, the junior quarterback.
Yeah, they put up 70 points in that win against Harker in San Jose. And then
I'm not even sure you can do that on Madden football, Jeff Gorham.
There's not enough time in the games for those, for gosh sakes.
They'll run an end around here. Crafty play call, and Irving Senegal, the senior, has his first carry of the game. He's run out of bounds at the 23-yard line, a pickup of 7.
And Fremont is going to pound the football on the ground as much as possible in today's game, as we've seen here early.
Yeah, they go run about 75% of the time. This is a run-first football team, and CSDR has got their hands full today. Midway through the first quarter, Cubs with the 4 and out to begin the game, and the Eagles have put together a great drive. 7th play of the game. Here's Dingle, who heads left, gets a block from Goj, tightropes the sideline, and is knocked out just short of the 10, where Darius Zaramka runs him out.
Well, Zaramka has had a couple tackles already here in this first series, and that was a touchdown-saving tackle.
Excellent job defensively, and you certainly got to know that this is a well-coached program led by Keith Adams, the reigning IE Varsity Football Coach of the Year. And that's everybody in the Inland Empire. Keith Adams named the coach of 2022.
Do you know what else he's famous for?
Oh.
Being my friend.
Being your friend?
I love Coach Adams. He and I
That's the Jeff Gorham effect.
We text each other during the season and during the year. He's just a great family man. Came down, in fact, when Pep and I were hosting the Festival of Lights here at the Mission Inn. What did I see? Keith Adams and his family. I met his lovely young daughter and his boys. Had a great conversation with his daughter.
Well, you know, he's a good-looking man, so when you're talking about who's going to play him in the acting role for the upcoming films, why not Keith Adams? I mean, he's the guy in the flesh.
Oh, you know, I asked him that on the coach's perspective this week, and He didn't give me a true answer. I said,
That's
told
that
him,
Hollywood answer he gave you.
you see, I know if they're gonna
Divulge.
if they're gonna use a broadcaster, they better cast Brad Pitt in my role.
Right.
And I don't. They can cast whomever. You could be your own self because you're a handsome young guy.
Oh.
I, of course, I have a face for radio.
Oh, get out of here. Get out of here. They did the same treatment, appreciate that, with Kurt Warner, where, they make a documentary about him, and they bring someone who looks kind of like him, but how about Kurt Warner? How about the guy, the article right there?
Kurt Warner, in fact, spoke to this, came to a
Really?
practice, came to a game last year, and spoke with the CSDR team after one of their victories. So that was another great. Kurt Warner actually came down here and interacted with the student athletes and the campus. It was just, if I was a student here, I would just be. Those are memories you're never going to forget.
Right. This is the most, the hottest program in town right now, CSDR.
Only state champion. And that's going to be offsides.
Right, a flag here.
I believe the whistle is going to be blown dead before the snap. It was I'll say offsides. There you go, offsides.
Yep, offsides. That'll move it closer. Keith Adams came to the program in 2005 and immediately turned this team into a winner. They went 10-1 overall in his rookie season as head coach. He left in 2007 only to return in 2017, and his team was even better now than it was then. Over the last 2 years going into 2023, the club was 24 wins and 1 loss, and they avenged that loss in the state title last year. First and goal from about the 4.5-yard line. Jaden Dingle waits for the snap. Early movement again, and that'll stop things with just under 7 minutes on the first quarter clock. False start.
And if you're wondering how the quarterback can get his cadence and the snap without getting guys offsides, that could be a problem. But
right.
The thing is, they used to use drums. I don't know if you know this, but they used to use a drum.
And they'd feel the vibrations.
Feel the vibrations of the drum. In fact, the cheerleaders do this. I believe still use a drum at some point. But Pete Landsey, who was a longtime football coach here, I believe he was here for 26 years. He's in the Hall of Fame. He was the guy that was instrumental in calling the no-huddle offense when he was here at CSDR, which really revolutionized college and pro football. He was the first person to devise the huddle, which is, you think about that, the history of football really comes through here at the city of Riverside. Pete Landsey, like I said, in the Hall of Fame, a Riverside Hall of Famer as well, but he devised the huddle, back in the day. So anything you see today in modern football was devised here at CSDR here in Riverside under Pete Landsey.
Absolutely fascinating. And it's transitioned all the way to the pro game all these years later, 100 years after he developed that. Just incredible stuff. They'll fake one to Senegal, and that pass from Dingle is reeled in for a Eagles touchdown. Aiden Shoup, the sophomore, has his first touchdown grab of the 2023 season.
So a quick route into the end zone, cross route, perfect pass. And you'll see here they're going to go for 2. You can kick field goals, but everybody elects for the most part to go for 2.
Well-designed play. I'm sure the huddle is not the only thing designed for the pro game and the college game. These are some crafty play calls and formations that these coaches are putting together.
Yeah, and with 8 man, it takes out a couple players. It takes 3 players out of the equation. So, you have a couple more eligible receivers. It makes the game a lot more high-paced and fun to watch.
We'll see what they dial up here on a 2-point conversion. They'll give it to Shoup on a jet sweep. He breaks a tackle and dives to the pylon, and he's in. Yes, 2-point conversion successful. Aiden Shoup was all over that drive, number 3 for the Eagles.
Yeah, I don't know our referee corps, but I do know one of the referees, the great Ray Triplett, is out there. He's on the side judge. He's the one that called that touchdown. Ray Triplett's been in Riverside for...
Any relation to Jeff Triplett?
No.
Believe it or not.
He's a long-time resident here in Riverside, has been refereeing for darn near 100 years, it seems like, but I've known him my entire life. It's great to see him, and still out here working as a high school referee.
Certainly a busy first quarter for them. We've already seen 4 to 5 penalties in this first quarter. Nick Rice, Jeff Gorham, a beautiful, balmy, 82-degree day from Riverside. 8-man high school football, California School of the Deaf. Eagles of Fremont, a suburb outside of Oakland, and CSDR, the Cubs, from right here in Riverside.
Have you ever been up to Fremont? Beautiful area.
I've been to Oakland. It's pretty. It's beautiful.
Oaktown 357.
357.
I went to school up in the Bay Area, so I've been out to Fremont.
The return from Gio Visco, and the sophomore runs out of bounds across the 25-yard line. They made the trip yesterday, and that is the thing about 8-man high school football. It seems these programs travel more than the 11-man high school football programs.
They're all over the place. They go to, if I want to go back to high school and play for CSDR, going to Maryland. But, today was a great day. I believe they had a volleyball match here earlier on against Fremont. So I think they bring the entire school down, and it's, they make
Judging by the fan base here today, I'd say you're probably right.
A great atmosphere.
They'll fake the throw, and then as he's getting horse-collared, there's Gio Visco. That was a dangerous decision from the quarterback.
And there's the flag came in. That's definitely going to be a horse collar. It's going to be moved back. Or moved forward, I should say.
Forward, yeah.
Oh, they're going to wave it off.
Interesting. Looked like a horse collar from here. Maybe we'll get a quick look at that again. Indeed, we will. Here's number 5, Caden Adams.
No, he just pulled him down with a shirt.
Wow. However you can bring him down, not a bad idea.
Yes, we saw a horse collar last night in the North King game. Boy, that was a good one. King really showed that they are ready to go into league play with a big, big victory over John W. North High School last night.
Caden Adams under pressure, and he's whistled down for an Eagles sack. One of the first there was Devin Thronton, who's been everywhere, the senior has. That's his second sack of the year and a loss of 5.
Fremont showing a lot of blitz right now.
And Caden Adams looks certainly a bit under duress in this first quarter. He's been hit and knocked down several times. In fact, it looks like they're going to take a quick timeout. And that's an opportunity for us to look at California School of the Deaf and what they've done over the last couple of years. Incredible. They've played in Maryland, Indianapolis. They played in that game last year in Central Florida where a hurricane came through that week. Still figured out a way to play the game. They've gone to Phoenix twice and Vancouver, Washington. And obviously they just returned from Frederick, Maryland last week.
Well, I want to know who's footing that bill, for gosh sake.
Yeah.
That's NFL stuff right there.
Right.
Talked to Coach Adams beforehand. I said, "What you guys do?" I said, "Do you guys pack like you bring your pads on?" Because every kid has a big giant bag, and they check them in. But they got to spend some time watching their former teammates play last weekend as well. So it was a nice reunion of sorts for CSDR.
They won't leave the state of California for the rest of the regular season. Visco on the tunnel screen gains about 5 on the catch. Aiden Shoup, who just reeled in the touchdown to cap Fremont's last drive, makes the stop for the Eagles. The Cubs went 4 and out on their last drive. We'll see if the Cubs can convert 4th down here. It's a short 5 to go for CSDR. Let's check out that third down play yet again. Well, when you're under pressure as much as Adams has, a quick throw like that might not be a bad idea. Here they go, fourth down, and there is the pressure again. Mario Flores Montoya, the senior's got him. And on fourth down, the Cubs just look a little out of sorts right now.
I'll tell you what, that defensive line is really taking care of business from Fremont over Riverside here, and that's been the big difference. Is Adams has not been able to do much in the pocket because there isn't a pocket.
Yeah. That defense has been excellent. The Fremont defense allowing just 14.5 points per game leads the North Coast Division. They're like a Notre Dame. They do not have a particular conference they play in, but in Northern California, no defense has been better. First down and 10 yards to go. From the 35-yard line of CSDR. They'll go run. Yet again, the fullbacks got it. And Lucas go to about the 30. The 33-yard line, my apologies.
You know, I've been keeping score. Have you been paying attention to flag football? Is now a high school sport here in California.
I know they did that for the girls.
That's what it is. Yeah, no, just for the girls. It's a first year of sport, and I've been keeping score over it once a week. I've been going and keep score for some high school flag football games, and boy, that's been fun to watch this year.
Right.
A little reminiscent of the same field dimensions as we have here today.
So there's no hashes on this 8-man football. Do you guys kick field goals and stuff like that?
In flag football, no field goals, none. They do change it so it's every 20 yards you have to get a first down.
Interesting.
And there's no punting, there's no kicking, and the games are running clock, so games are quick. So they usually play 2 or 3 games in a day. Is what they do is they have like a round robin. So you have 3 different high schools playing each other.
Well, you know, they say kickers and punters are people too, but I guess in flag football they're not. Dingle's going to take a deep shot, and he overthrows his intended receiver. Kaloni Rosby was open.
A lot of time in the pocket there. CSDR is going to have to embrace the blitz.
Yeah. In fact, both clubs. It seemed like no matter what defense is dialed up against the Cubs last year, it didn't work. As Trevin Adams was barely sacked. In fact, he was barely hit last year. It is very unusual to see a quarter like this for CSDR with so much defense.
Yeah, Trevin Adams is, I was told, we'll talk a little bit more about this, but there's a lot of ingenuity going into helmets, and Trevin Adams is a part of that national scientific helmet. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on today.
Have to play fake, he'll throw a jump ball, and that's intercepted. Taken away by Morgan Hawkins. The freshman's first career interception donning a CSDR uniform, and that was a savvy play by the young kid. Morgan Hawkins with the interception.
Hawkins with the ball hawk right there.
Yeah, how about that? He almost looked like the intended receiver on that play. Excellent ball skills to snag that one out of the air. Kalani Rosby, the intended target. And speaking of Trevin Adams, when he was here, I mean, his success is just absolutely unparalleled at CSDR.
Do you have any of his stats?
I sure do. I was going to lead into that.
They are
insane.
Video game numbers amplified.
And we're not kidding, and we'll tell you in just a moment. Caden Adams, under duress, he gets by one defender and turns what could have been a loss into a 3-yard gain. Strong running from Kalen Adams. Irving Senegal makes the stop. So in 2020, there was no season because of COVID. So these career numbers are 3 years, not 4 years. Are you ready?
Yes.
Trevin Adams for CSDR gained 10,106 yards from scrimmage. 10,000.
Wait, 10,106.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he also had, you want to guess how many touchdowns the guy scored? In 3 years.
In 3 years, I want to say
First
90,
down completion to
90,
Joseph Barrios.
30.
That's a great guess. 30 touchdowns a year is incredible.
Was I close?
Try 187.
Get out of here.
He had 62 just last year.
Holy cow.
Yeah, the guy was incredible. So when we say this team was unbeatable, they really were. We're not kidding. This team was all-time stuff.
Okay, now,
Trevin Adams.
I want you to think about this in mileage. You know how many miles Trayvon Adams ran?
What is that?
Or he threw for? How many? That was all the yards he threw for, correct?
Threw and ran.
Okay, so he threw and ran over 5.5 miles.
5.5 miles. I can't even walk that. Oh, there he goes. Down the sideline for Gio Visco. In fact, it looks like he's going to win the foot race. He dives to the goal line. No signal yet. Touchdown, CSDR. Gio Visco with the outstanding catch and run. 47 yards for Visco in the touchdown.
A nice juke move right there. Goes inside, and like you said, it's a foot race. But yeah, think about it. He ran or threw over
5.5 miles.
5.7 miles of real estate in his career. That is unbelievable.
I mean, when we were here last year in one of the CSDR home games, as Adams pitches it, and the up man will not get the 2-point conversion, Morgan Hawkins. When you were here last year, CSDR won the game 80-8, and they were basically sitting on the ball in the fourth quarter. Trevin Adams was incredible. Now, granted, he was not the only guy on the team who was integral to their state championship run, but he was the biggest part.
I believe you had Valenzuela last year.
And some of these guys certainly were an integral part of last year's team. Caden Adams, the quarterback, too.
I should say, the Valencia brothers. Dad is the athletic director here at CSDR. In fact, he was a good friend of mine. We used to play a lot of basketball together. Great basketball player.
Back in the day when you're...
Back in the day when I could actually walk and play.
When you could dunk and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
You're 6'8". I'm sure you could, figure out a way.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, huh? Our score with under 3 left in the first, Fremont 8, Riverside 6. Jose Ceja Aguilar with a squib kick. In fact, the Cubs might have got it again. Gio Visco dove on it, and it is Riverside football. Well, if you're facing the best team in the North right now, undefeated Fremont, you might need some free possessions.
And there's 2 right there they've got just off special teams. I'm saying the great Noah Valencia, the athletic director here. I see him over there wearing a nice red shirt over by our interpreter friend Mark.
Well, kickers, if you want extra possessions in flag football, you might want to think about a kicker.
Where do you get a kicker? They got to go from a soccer player.
Right, yeah. Caden Adams on the design pitch. A jet sweep to Visco. And this is certainly a promising athlete, Gio Visco, number 2, the sophomore with nearly 1,000 career receiving yards, and he still has 2 more years of eligibility after this one. Here's a look at his wheels to the outside, having just scored the touchdown last time.
So in his first year, he had nearly 1,000 yards.
Yeah, this guy's good.
So
a little over 600 last year.
Wow.
He is also a 3-sport athlete at CSDR, with basketball and baseball being his other 2 obligations. I don't know where he gets his opportunity to hang out with friends.
Yeah, he's busy all the time.
Nothing but business for this guy. An excellent start to the drive off of the onside kick recovery. Adams out of the empty. Gets rid of it to Visco. Grabs it off of his shoe tops. Spilled by Hernandez. That's a first down on the gain of 4. And we talked to Keith Adams before the game about, and you mentioned it as well, the youth of this program with the injuries too. And while they are 1-3 this year, I can't help but fawn over the talent of freshmen and sophomores that are playing really well for this program. Adams under pressure, evades the first two defenders and is swarmed by Hernandez and Devin Thornton. It's a gain of about 8 that time.
You know, with the success you have at school, and sometimes it doesn't equate to wins. Like you said, they're 0-3 this year, but the buy-in, and kids will want to play football when they see how successful they've been. And when you have a good head coach, you can make those kids a lot better football players. You know, coming in as freshmen, they get to play varsity football for the most part.
Right.
So they're going to get better just by, playing a lot of action and a lot of reps.
Plenty of reps for a lot of these guys who go both ways, too. 8-6 ball game, that pass is incomplete. Intended for freshman Morgan Hawkins. In fact, it's rare to see a senior out here making plays. A lot of young guys, 14, 15 years old, stepping up in a big spot.
But what a great school here. I know they're going to eventually redo this entire football stadium.
Are they?
They have a brand new, I don't know if you've been by here, but they have a wonderful gymnasium they opened and a great swimming pool with a diving well. I mean, it is something to behold. If you ever get a chance, come on over to CSDR and take a walk, check out the campus. One of the nicer jewels here in the city of Riverside.
Right near downtown, juggled but reeled in near the sideline.
As a boy, as a young man, a young kid, I should say, in Riverside, CSDR used to play in the we played flag football against them when I was in the city, and then I played Catholic Little League here in Riverside, and CSDR was part of our Little League, and they would beat us by 20-0. They would just dominate us in flag football and baseball. In basketball, they couldn't handle me, though, so I always took care of business. But
of course.
But I'm telling you, man, every time we played CSDR, we'd say they were the toughest kids ever, and nobody wanted to play them because they were just so darn tough.
At CSDR, and it is a beautiful campus right off the freeway here in Riverside, overlooking the what are those mountains over there? I don't know. Big Bear is somewhere around there. I can see it.
Oh, I think we have a fire somewhere too. I got a notice on my phone that there's a wildfire somewhere.
Oh man!
So it's a little bit of a haze today, but you can see Box Springs Mountain over to the right, and then you got this lump of a mountain in front of us, which is a staple here in Riverside. Don't know the name of that. I should though. I used to run around on those mountains as a kid.
Well, last year one of our employees got fired out living up there in the mountains. But nevertheless, it's still a beautiful scene here in the city of Riverside. We played a quarter, 8-6. Fremont has the edge. The club from Oakland took the lead on a touchdown from Jaden Dingle to the Eagles' Aiden Shoup. The sophomore scored the two-pointer as well to take the 8-0 lead. Cubs took advantage of one of the two onsides with a long touchdown catch from Gio Visco to trim the lead to 8-6. No two-pointer on that drive. And after an onside kick recovery for the second time, the Cubs will try and punch it in with points. But they begin switching sides with 4th down and about 3 yards to go. Nick Rice, Jeff Gorham, a beautiful 82-degree, sun-soaked afternoon from Riverside. Adams has that deflected. Excellent defense. It's a 4th down stop. Mario Flores Montoya might have gotten a hand on it for the Eagles.
That was just great defensive stop there, putting his hand in the passing lane, knocking it down.
Well, for Riverside, you've got to feel at some point with the extra possessions your special teams are giving you, at some point they can punch it in. Last week, the team took a lead with 2 minutes left in the game against Maryland, but then the defense gave up the last-second drive to lose the game 14-12.
So the world domination ended last week as far as, I know CSDR was taking care of business last year. They go to different states, and I was marking off. I was at home, and I'm marking off these spots on the map of where CSDR has conquered. So now
Yep.
I have to erase Maryland, though.
Well, with California, you could,
This is the California Championship right here. We
Right.
have it in Riverside today.
How about that? But over the last 2 years, you could, not a pen, you could take a Sharpie and color in the state of California. That was CSDR 2 years, back-to-back trips to the state title. And winners last season. Dingle with a deep drop this time, hit as he throws. That is a bit short and incomplete to Irving Senegal.
Well, Senegal had him beat. Just the throw was underthrown.
This Fremont club is coming off a 50-point performance against Anderson Valley last week. CSDR has held them to 8 in this first half. Morgan Hawkins, just a freshman. I can't believe, as a freshman I had no chance to sniff varsity. The problem is I didn't have that chance as a senior either at my high school. But as a freshman, there was no way. This guy's doing everything as a freshman for this team.
I was still playing with Star Wars figures as a
Were
freshman,
ya?
for gosh sakes.
Well, it comes full circle because I was playing Star Wars Lego when I was a freshman. There's the first sack of the game for CSDR, freshman Kai Davis. In fact, his first sack as a Cub, right there. Loss of about a half a yard on that play. A lot of firsts, too, for this program here at CSDR. Kai Davis, Morgan Hawkins. The future looks very bright for this program. Freshmen making big plays early. Number 11, Jaden Dingle, waiting for the snap, and he's got it. Fakes to his running back, hands inside on a counter, and Irving Senegal had no chance. Great third down stop by the Cub defense.
Yeah, a little misdirection play there on offense, but the Cubs right there to counter. Took care of business on that play, bringing up that, like I said, 4th and 10.
Well, for those of you just joining us, this is not your typical high school football. This is 8-man high school football. California School of the Deaf Riverside, California School of the Deaf Fremont out of a suburb near Oakland. It is fascinating, high-paced, energetic football with different rules in a certain degree than 11-man football, but still the same game we love.
Well, here's a punt. We haven't seen one of these. Haven't seen one of these in a year.
At least the punt formation. Senegal gets rid of it, and that is a terrific skyward punt. And Visco lets it go. Why, the freshman with a great job that time on the punt. Let's see where they mark this one down. Looks like it'll be near the Riverside 20-yard line. In fact, they'll mark it down to the 21. Nick Rice, Jeff Gorham, under 10 left in the first half. Fremont 8, Riverside 6.
Good crowd here today at CSDR.
In fact, standing room only. Maybe that might be part of the renovations, add some more seats.
Well, I know they're going to try to get a track in here and possibly a turf field, which would really, really help out, with all the other upgrades they've done to the school here. I'd love to see CSDR get some lights in here, play some night games.
Right. Gio Visco on the check down, races out of bounds near the first down marker with Aiden Shoup on the tackle. Now, you guys talked about the game at North yesterday, the wood pellets they put on there that, folks take off their wine caps and shred all over the turf. But I don't know. I mean, it does make the turf cooler, but the other problem is, do you really want a bunch of wood pellets up your knee and skin and stuff like that?
Well, the big thing is, everybody wanted to go to turf, 10 years ago. And, you had the injury with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And now they're saying everybody wants to go back to grass. So I guess there's only 2 fields in Riverside that have grass, and do you know which 2 fields they are? One is here, the other's at Norte Vista, just down the road.
Norte Vista.
Those are the only 2 grass fields left in Riverside.
Interesting. Now, I don't know how this makes me sound, but I love the grass. I think it's better than turf, to be quite honest. But, you know, it might not be as visually aesthetic or whatever they call it.
Yeah, but, you know, the problem is with grass is if you don't have a agronomist, a guy who works on just grass alone, you know, if you're having 3 or 4 teams using these fields during the season, those fields get ruined pretty quickly. That's the only downside of grass. If it's one school using it, it's fine. But, you know, Alvord, they have 3 different high schools using the grass turf. And here, as you can see, the grass is pretty nice shape right now.
Yeah, in the first quarter, we'll see how these guys tear it up later. Gio Visco, another foot race for the sophomore, and this time there's no debate about it. Another touchdown for Visco. He's having some game.
Boy, Visco is fun to watch. He is really tearing it up here in the first half.
He came in with 3 receiving touchdowns in 4 games, had yet to run for a score, and he made up for it on that play, shaking out the entire defense.
Looking back and saying goodbye to the D. Great touchdown there.
Fremont allows 14 points per game throughout their undefeated season. A 2-pointer could give Riverside 14 points in 15 minutes. And that jump ball is, of course, Visco is on the receiving end of it. It's caught for 2. Riverside leads 14-8.
Well, Riverside already in the first half is pretty much eclipsed their season average so far. So a good first half versus their rivals.
Season average in everything. This offense gains 188 yards per game this year. Trevin Adams gained 1,000 yards per minute last year, so a little bit of a drop-off, but they've more than made up for it in the first half with this kid, Gio Visco. As mentioned, 3-sport athlete, maybe the tallest guy on the field, too. And you know, when he runs, it doesn't look like he's running super fast, but he has the long strides, and it makes up for it.
Yeah, well, with Valencia and Adams last year, he probably didn't get much of an opportunity. But, man, now it's his time to shine. Just as you said, a sophomore?
Sophomore, yeah.
Wow, he's going to have a great career here the next 2+ years.
And I think Keith Adams has found something in Gio Visco. Early in the year, they try and get him going with quick screen passes, but in today's game, they're just giving him the snap and letting him make moves off of that snap. And it seems that Fremont defense, we saw them giving Adams no time to throw early in the game, and all of a sudden, they found an answer.
Referee, something's going on here. Don't know exactly what's going on.
Maybe sideline interference? You know, those refs, they some of them do get a little, you know, testy when you step in their box on the sideline. You know, a couple weeks ago it happened. I believe that was a game you and me were doing together where one of the officials threw, I think it was Opalani Vaipulu out of the game. Or no, one of his assistants.
One of his assistants was talking on the sideline.
Right, threw him out of the game. So it is a real deal. You got to act right on the sideline too. That'll push back the kick a little bit more. And that squib kick's run out of bounds. That'll be another penalty on Fremont. A typically clean football team in Fremont dealing with penalties in the first half of this one. Cubs should take the field at about the 25-yard line. Or the Eagles, that is, when they begin their next drive. Down 14-8. This is the first lead of the game for the Riverside Cubs.
Oh, they got a great snack bar over here. I'm seeing all kinds of food here. I want to eat.
Right. And they're eating right in front of us. What's up with that?
I saw a guy with elote. Nice big giant thing of corn.
All right.
Anytime you got
Well,
some...
they're not eating the Riverside bugs that we were promoting last year here on Riverside TV.
That's right.
During Insect Day.
Insect Fair. I was able to cover that again this year. Didn't get to eat any insects, but it was a lot of fun.
There is the draw to Senegal. A flag is down to the area of holding, but for the moment, it's an Eagles first down. They've had plenty of those this year, but as mentioned, Fremont has just been ravaged by penalties in the first half of this one. Something we're not accustomed to seeing out of this football team. Let's check out where the penalty might have been on. Yep, there it was, number 30, Devin Thornton. So that'll back up the offense. 1st and 20 now, like flag football. They're going to need the 35. Fremont went the distance on their first drive of the game. And over the last 11 minutes, they haven't scored since. They'll pitch it to Go, who sweeps to his left. Nowhere to go. The Cubs defense has really stepped up in the second quarter.
Boy, they've dropped even more yardage. This is 3rd and a mile and a half.
Right.
Or 2nd and a mile and a half.
Xavier Gamboa, one of the first defenders on the tackle. Number 25.
That hole closed quick.
Now, CSDR, the defense, they must have figured something out because they look like a completely different team right now. Eagles getting the play from the sideline, but took them a little too much time, so they'll burn a timeout. 7.5 minutes left in the second quarter. Nick Rice, Jeff Gorham, 14-8 Riverside of California School of the Deaf. This is that game against Maryland was the only one on the road for them out of the state of California. They'll head to Rancho Cucamonga in a few weeks. And then the rest of their games are right here at home.
Yeah, who's in CSDR's league?
They play after a bye next week, their conference opener against Calvary Chapel out of Downey. And then they play United Christian Academy from Rancho Cucamonga. Just 2 conference games out of the Tri-County Premier League. So they go from like a state championship type of atmosphere today to shoot 2 games in 2 weeks to win the whole conference and make the playoffs. Important time of the year for CSDR. Meanwhile, for California School of the Deaf Fremont, they'll head to Birmingham, Alabama in a couple of weeks.
They travel too, for gosh sakes.
For gosh sakes, they sure do. And then they play a bunch. They're an independent school, so they'll play all over the state the rest of the year. As far as I know, CSDR doesn't have the type of thing King, North, and the other schools do where they have that inner-city rivalry.
No, this is their big rival right here. This is the 2 schools in California.
For all the marbles. Senegal in a jet sweep. He gains some of the penalty yardage back. A pickup of about 6 on the run. It's 3rd and 17 coming up for the Eagles.
There's a replay there.
Riverside bringing in some substitutions. Number 17, Joseph Barrios, moving over on third down and about 17 to go. Eagles lining up with almost like a triple option formation. They have a wing back to the right, too, with a flag down. Another timeout call by the Eagles. You know, they're having a tough time getting the play from the sideline. And that really hurt them early in the game, too.
Both teams have burned a couple timeouts here. Go on.
And that's the tricky thing, you know, for the California School of the Deaf programs that bring in the play from the sideline. I remember last year, maybe not this year, but they had giant posters of faces, you know, for the plays on the sideline. Not this year.
They changed that up a little bit, apparently.
Right. I believe that's the Eagles. Nope, that's their second timeout. 6.5 left. 14-8 Riverside. Do we know if we have another game for CSDR later this year?
I believe we do.
All right.
Let me try to find the schedule here and see if we can hunt that down.
We appreciate all the folks who've been so friendly and helpful at California School of the Deaf to put this sort of thing together. Just great people and a great atmosphere. I mean, it's just a whole different type of feel when you come to CSDR. Third down and 17. Dingle rolls left and takes a shot deep downfield. He's got a man out there. He was juggled, and it looks like he dropped it. No, he dropped it. Incomplete. Some throw here from Jaden Dingle about 30 yards out. Oh, hit him in the worst spot.
Right in the hands.
Oh, look at him. That's a tough break. He was open. 4th and 17. We'll see if they go for it. We saw their punter last time, Irving Senegal, with a great punt. He's standing back there again.
Senegal does it all.
Low snap, and that punt is blocked. The Cubs have turned around this game in a big way, and there's number 18 with the recovery, freshman Kai Davis.
And great field position here right before halftime. Possibly get on the board one more time. Couple more, actually. Still 6.5 minutes left here.
Yeah, there's certainly signals of a well-coached program, and for Keith Adams, the way they've turned things around. I mean, Fremont was doing whatever they wanted to early, except for the onside kicks, of course. And the special teams has been where they've shined today.
Yeah, that snap just a little too low to the ground, a little slow to get there to Senegal, but
Adams breaks a tackle, cuts inside to the 5, spins, drives through a defender. What a run. Touchdown, Cubs.
now is he on pace for 65 touchdowns like his older brother?
Oh, man. Shoot, he might have that in today's game.
65 in 1 year? You got to be kidding me.
In 12 games, not
even a full slate of games.
Yeah. What an incredible year it was for Trevin Adams. Adams on a design quarterback run, lunges over the goal line, and he's in for the 2-point conversion, 22-8. For those who turned off the game for a moment in the middle of the first quarter watching Fremont control both sides, it's hard to believe, but the Cubs have completely turned this thing around. 22-8 Riverside.
Yeah, they have dominated since that first series and really have taken control of this game. And the defensive side of the football has really got them in great position to score these touchdowns.
Oh, my goodness. What a run from Adams. Yeah, flex for Kalen Adams. That looks like a guy that's hit the weight room before today's game.
And we're going to have more football this week. In fact, we're going to have 3 games this week. We have Hillcrest Norte Vista.
All right. And these are all league openers.
On Thursday night. And then we are going to have a doubleheader on Friday.
All right.
As we're going to have
Is this confirmed?
Yes, it's confirmed. We're going to have North Orange Vista, which I believe you will be on the call.
All right.
And I think I will be at La Sierra, Arlington.
That'll be our first time checking out La Sierra.
We've not seen La Sierra. We've seen everybody in. We have not seen Norte Vista, but we'll have them as well on Thursday night.
So who's coaching there at La Sierra?
A new guy.
We'll
I don't know his name.
We'll get a word on that.
Sean.
I'm pretty sure I haven't seen La Sierra. It's been a while since we've been
Sean
there.
Moore is
Sean Moore. Okay. We have a few new coaches in the city of Riverside this year. John Rice is out. And Pauly.
Yeah, you have Jerron Gilbert over at Riverside.
Gilbert now coaching there.
Played in the NFL for 4 years.
Yeah, and he is scary, I tell you.
Yeah, very few people.
Talking to
very few people I look eye to eye to, being that I'm 6'8", and I was looking eye to eye to him, and he's built like a brick wall. Just somebody you don't want to mess with.
He is a teddy bear, though.
Seems like teddy bear coaching the Bears. Seems like a really nice guy, but you know, he was a defensive player in the NFL. They're probably not that nice.
Right.
They can't be that nice. He just has a nice exterior that you just don't want to mess with.
Don't want him. Well, good luck to the Bears this year. Here's Senegal, who's down the sideline. We'll see where they mark him out. Looked like he stepped out at about the 35. We'll get a chance to see just about everybody in the city of Riverside this week. So Riverside TV's in full swing in what should be an incredible year. And you had your stake a claim on Norte Vista, right?
If I was going to rate and rank my teams today in the city of Riverside, I would have to rank number one. I'd have to go Norte Vista, just because they took care of business, beat John Muir last night, the Division 10 state champions last night.
Right, alma mater of Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson and Jock Vaughn.
Yeah,
some notable names, but. You know, then I'd have to say Martin Luther King would be the second best team in Riverside.
Now, you know, you love him, I love him. He's just awesome. Ken Mashinsky at Ramona. Albeit the loss in the opener to North, I'd say Ken Mashinsky's got that team as well coached as anybody in the city, maybe even the IE. Just an incredible coach. I wouldn't put it past him to shock a few teams.
Yeah, if they can make the playoffs after losing 27 players, 18 starters, that tells you what kind of coach Mashinsky is. He does a great job. And another great defensive stop here by Riverside.
Looks like the man who made the tackle is down. If I'm not mistaken, that was Kai Adams. Not 100% sure. Yep, that's him, number 5. He's shaken up. We've got a timeout on the field, but we'll keep it here midway through the second. King improved to 3-2 last night with their win over North, and that was a resounding win. So Jason McMains and King, you can't overlook them in the city too.
I think, like I said, I think they're the second best team in the city. And then you go third. I still have to go with North because I think North has the best.
Ramona?
Ramona's too young yet.
I think Ramona will figure out a way to go third or something.
Well, until they lost to North, so you got to put North ahead of them right now.
Right.
But then I would go probably either Ramona and Hillcrest. They could flip-flop either way. And then, it gets kind of muddled at the end there. You have Poly, and then I would go Arlington and La Sierra would be my round out the group. Just because La Sierra hasn't, they haven't played anybody yet. And you look at the Riverside schools, Norte Vista goes up to Granite Hills and wins. Norte Vista goes out to Muir and wins. Mm-hmm. They go out to the desert and they win. So, I mean, until somebody beats them from the city of Riverside, you have to put them as the best team. And I tell you what Jason McMains has done just in his third season at the helm of the Wolves, they've got a pretty special player in Sam Green. And they're...
Oh, my goodness. That guy is crazy. Built like a linebacker, runs like a wide receiver.
Yeah, just an amazing player. And the quarterback play they've had, they've just been solid all season long. So the Riverside schools are going to be good this year. It's just a matter of who gets in to the playoffs.
Pump fake here. Dingle takes a shot, and he's got a man out there. A diving Senegal. Did he make the catch? The officials say yes. That was some play for the first down. Irving Senegal lunging for that one.
So Senegal all over the place for Fremont.
A 23-yard pickup to move the chains on 2nd and long. He's been their main target today. Senegal had 3 catches on the year going into today.
He has that already today, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you've been a coach for a long time, Jeff Gorham, so you know 3 years to turn around a program. I mean, that is just impossible to do. McMains is doing it there. Jump ball to Senegal again, not a bad idea. It's reeled in. Gio Visco pushes him out. The Dingle to Senegal combination has just been unstoppable.
Yeah, they just throw a jump ball out there, and he is going up and getting it.
Right.
But yeah, going back to McMains, in high school football now, if you're a good player, a lot of times these players get poached and end up at different schools. But if you can keep guys in your neighborhood, and he is doing that, there's going to be some teams that are going to be pretty formidable here for a number of years. McMains has been a staple. Ken Batdorf's been at Norte Vista for 30 years.
30 years.
30 years. And when you have that kind of longevity and continuity, you're going to have players stay, and they're going to buy into it.
Shoot, you're going to have kids of players.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly. These are neighborhood schools, and they're getting better and better. I see the same thing happen at Riverside Poly if, Coach Gilbert can hang around.
And shoot, if you're Opalani, Kai Adams, off of an injury, he's not hurt anymore, tackle for loss, that might be 8 yards in the backfield. What a play.
So there's 2 more Adams on this roster?
I guess so. Kai Adams and Caden Adams.
Oh, Coach Adams. I know he's got a young daughter. I wonder if she plays football.
Shoot. Speaking of that, I was mentioning Opalani Vaipulu's cousin is on the North program too. It's a family affair.
It's a family affair, and it's not, you say cousin, but it's a girl, and she's a kicker, and she's fantastic.
Hey, how about perfect on kicks yesterday? It hit the crossbar, but it went through. It's all that counts.
Riverside has the best female kicker of all time. It was at Martin Luther King High School.
Wow.
I don't know if you remember this, but Heidi Garrett kicked a 48-yard field goal.
48.
Still holds the national record to this day.
Xavier Gomba with the sack. That is incredible. ESPN was going nuts over a girl at Baylor who kicked, I think, a 25-yarder. No,
she had nothing on Heidi Garrett.
Garrett,
48-yarder, was a great soccer player. Played at UC Riverside. But was an amazing football kicker as well.
48. I mean, NFL guys are not going much beyond 50. Unless you're Justin Tucker, 65. That's incredible.
Or Chavez. Remember Chavez?
Ricardo Chavez.
We
were going nuts when he hit, I think it was no more than 52, 54.
Was it? No, I thought he hit a 60-yarder, no?
No way.
I think he was 60.
I might be underestimating.
I think you did underestimate Chavez.
Dingle under duress. Pursuit from Adams. He gets by 2 defenders and slides to the 10-yard line. Darius Zaremka with the stop, and that'll bring up 4th down. From the 10, they need the 1 for a first down, and of course 10 for the end zone.
How good have these games been here for the city of Riverside
Yeah.
this year? We haven't had any blowouts or horrible
Well,
games.
yesterday was, flirting with it, but the first game of the year, how I knew this would be an incredible year, was North and Ramona in one of the best games. That was awesome. 42-35, Shannon CIF Player of the Week, 5 touchdown passes and a comeback win.
Yeah, we're at 300 over 300 yards.
Yeah, 360 or something
Yeah.
like that. I mean, it was awesome. A lot of penalties, but it was awesome.
I think the game lasted about 4 hours.
Yeah.
It'd still be going on if it was the same ref crew.
Right, Dingle shoots it into the end zone. Senegal makes the grab, and he's in for the touchdown.
That combination has been pretty darn good here in the first half.
Well, Fremont is a run-heavy football team, but the Cubs pushed them back into a passing formation, and the Eagles are pretty good at that too. By the way, this does remind me, kickoffs are now at 7 instead of 7:30 for high school football. Did they get the JV thing figured out?
No, the Thursday night
Oh.
games are always going to be at 7:30.
Oh, they're always 7. Shoot.
And there's even going to be some Saturday games as well. I know
Wow.
we're not covering any this Saturday, but there are a couple in the books coming up this following Saturday. I think Poly's playing on Saturday.
Quarterback run, a sneak, and that won't come close. Our score 22-14. But it certainly is an incredible time of year with Riverside High School football in full swing.
Remember, we also have RCC football.
Yeah, and RCC football as well.
I'll tell you what, I don't know if you've had a chance to see RCC. Did you cover a game with us this
Not
year?
yet, but it's going to happen.
They are
It's gonna
this
happen.
is the best team I think that Tom Kraft has
Really?
had at RCC. Not you look at them and you go, they don't have the superstar one guy that stands out, but they're deep, 4 or 5 deep in. So
Interesting.
if you get a chance, check us out here on Riverside TV. We're going to be back, I believe, in 3 weeks from today, back at Wheelock Stadium, as we will have the Tigers. But look at there's
All right.
the Cub out there playing with the little guys.
Since 2021 in the NFL, there is one guy actually tied with Trayvon Diggs, who unfortunately got hurt. But there's one guy joined by Diggs who leads the NFL in interceptions, and since 2021, his name is J.C. Jackson from RCC.
That's right.
Just missed him, unfortunately. Didn't get a chance to see him, but he was some football player. Down to the 26-yard line by Morgan Hawkins with 2:02 left in the first half. Riverside by 8. Riverside College, a site for so many future stars in college football and the NFL. They go, and by the words of Tom Kraft, not my own, some of them, they just couldn't get in because of academics. That's the way it goes, and sometimes you just get overlooked out of high school. And Tom Kraft brings you in and turns you into a great player.
Yeah, he's still not the most fun guy in the world to talk to, though. I went over and said something to him the other day, and he just mumbled at me and gave me a dirty look, and I left.
Oh, my goodness. Quick hitch to number 17, Joseph Barrios, his first catch. He's taken down across the first down line. I guess you got to, I don't know. He treats me all right. Doesn't treat me too bad.
No, well, see, he showed up before the game. I went over and talked to him a little bit, and he was, he reminds me of your grumpy old grandpa.
Bill Belichick or something?
No, I'm not scared of those guys. I mean, but
No.
but you walk up to him and just kind of a crotchety guy.
Just always pissed off over something.
Angry about something. He definitely has. He's one dude I will try to avoid, and I don't avoid too many people. We know that here. You've been around me enough.
We know that. The mayor of Riverside Oh, boy. Yeah. I think one time you said, I need to, I'm done talking for the day. That was cute. That was really fun.
I've run out of words.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd worn out your copious vocabulary.
Yeah. I've done a veritable cornucopia of words.
Oh, come on, man. Mark's trying his best to translate this stuff, okay? Oh, man. 2 timeouts left, and Riverside with a short field off of the Barrios catch. Snap at the 39-yard line. Caden goes deep and misses number 2, Gio Visco, incomplete. Hard to miss a guy that tall in the lineup.
Yeah, am I a bad guy because I tried to get the translator? I was going to start saying as big of words as I possibly
and
could.
Talk as fast as you can.
Yeah, just so I could see him screaming his fingers off at me.
Right.
He was like, Jeff, stop talking to me.
Yeah,
but that's the personality of Jeff Gorham, is to mess with as many people as I possibly can. But, yeah,
right.
Thank you, Mark, for being a good sport and translating for us earlier when we were talking to Coach Adams.
Yeah. Adams dumps it off. Visco shakes a tackle. He gets by another great run for Visco, and he's going to score again. Touchdown, Cubs.
Wow, what a great run by Visco. I mean, he juked a guy at the 15 and then split the defenders at the 10, and it was over. Watch this replay. I mean, he scoots by 3 defenders on the last 15 yards. Watch this play. Okay, there's the one miss. Now watch this. Whoop.
Oh, man.
And then watch the 2 right there. Splits them both.
He made them tackle each other.
Yes, he did.
Oh, man. Oh, Gio Visco, have yourself a day. And for a guy that, came into the year with solid numbers, he saved his best against the best scoring defense in all of Northern California. Adams to go for 2, and he finds his man. 2-pointer, the senior Joseph Barrios is successful. And, Jeff, you talked to the coach before the game. This is a de facto state championship game of sorts. Why don't you go kick some you-know-what? And I'd say they're doing just that in the second quarter.
Oh, I did say that, didn't I? I did. I gave him a colorful metaphor of what to do to California's School for the Deaf, Fremont.
Because it's a California game, some pride in this state.
Yeah, and I'm an equal opportunity smack talker.
That's right.
That is for sure.
Credit to them coming off of a heart-wrenching loss to Maryland School of the Deaf Orioles on Friday. They come out here today with a bounce-back performance, up by 16 late in the first half. Now, this was where it hurt them in the game in Maryland last week. So they've got to sure things up on the final 144. Fremont, who had a tough time getting signals from the sideline, had to burn 2 timeouts. We'll see if that comes back to haunt them to close out the second quarter. Number 88, Jose Ceja Aguilar to kick things off. Nope, another onside kick. 2-time was good, a 3rd time is a charm as it's out of bounds. Well, it seems the only guy saving the onside kick is the sideline. I don't think I've ever seen a game where a team has gone onside like this.
Oh, they'll do it every single time. You watch. It's why not? You're going to play numbers. What is the analytics? Isn't that the?
Oh boy,
we're going to play the analytics game here at.
I got an analytic for you. Put Trayvon Adams on the field. And just make him do stuff.
That's it. Yeah.
Here's one for you.
Yeah, just go out there and make things happen.
Yeah. And you know what? Maybe that's Gio Visco. Maybe that's the guy.
Gio Visco is the new.
Right. Jeff Gorham's good at logging those stats. Ghazal Hassan's good at logging those stats and stuff. Maybe 150 yards. I don't know. Maybe we need him to kind of jot those for us.
Oh yeah, Ghazal Hassan. He writes down.
That's crazy.
He's a human. He's a walking computer.
JR does that too.
I'm too dumb.
Numbers guys.
I am far too dumb to do that.
Come on. No.
Oh, no. I admit my my shortcomings, and that's something I couldn't do it.
Oh, man. Your shortcomings? I didn't know you had any.
Oh,
to be
come
quite
on, man.
honest with you.
The highest math I ever did was arithmetic, for gosh sakes. Adding and subtracting, anything beyond that is foreign.
And that was a long, long time ago. Adams drags down the quarterback on a 2-yard gain. I'm just playing. I'm just a young kid here.
Yeah, you're
trying to.
I'm surprised you're
trying to mess with people who say you know we must be related. You know.
Yeah, they
Like,
say.
is that your dad or something?
Hey, don't say that. I'd be upset if they said, "Is that your grandson?" Then I'd be really upset.
Oh no, nah.
I went with my wife to the
remember that one
grocery store.
time?
Yeah, I went to the grocery store with my wife, and they go, "Hey, is this your granddaughter?" I'm like, "No, that's my wife. You,
That's
my
you
wife.
prick.
You jerk."
That's too much of an insult. That's too much. That's outrageous. That pass, little miscommunication to Senegal, incomplete from Jaden Dingle. Player of the first half, I'd say to no question, Gio Visco. He came in 147 yards short of 1,000 for his career. He's over that now.
So he's hit 1,000.
Yeah, he's at 1,000. That's
But now what was?
so now he's a tenth of the way there.
There you go.
To Trevin Adams.
How many yards again for Trevin Adams?
10,106. You divide that by 30 something. That's basically 5 football fields a game. Just ridiculous. He goes home after the game and is pissed because he only gained 350 yards and only scored 4 touchdowns. That was a funky pass, but it got there to the fullback, Devin Thornton, that is. Adams with the tackle. Now they are running out of time. Fremont with 11 seconds left in the first half. Dingle's looking deep. Pressure's coming, and that pass is dropped. They will stop the clock with 5 seconds. Fremont has a timeout, and they may decide to use it. Indeed, they will. Now, certainly credit belongs to Riverside. They overcame this slow start. Gio Visco certainly helped, but the defense has been good too.
And they've doubled their season output by putting up 30 here in the first half.
Yeah, maybe they play better when the state championship is on the line or something.
I just think they got robbed. They probably had bad refs back in Maryland. I'm going to
Yep,
blame
yeah.
everything. I'm going to blame everything except CSDR on that loss.
It was. They deflated the ball or something like that. That was a turnover on downs, that is. They're going to go for a trick play. Here's Gio Visco. Maybe he could just do it all himself. No chance the lateral, and that'll do it for the first half. Visco was the player of the game, and it's hard to find out a second place. What a performance by this young kid, just a sophomore, a 3-sport athlete too, and CSDR, led by Visco, leads Fremont of the half 30-14. We'll be back for more on Riverside TV in just a moment. We're through 2 quarters. The Cubs with the early lead.
The City of Riverside Public Works Department provides high-quality trash and recycling services for our customers. Our convenient curbside trash collection services help promote a clean and healthy Riverside. But what do you do when you have items too big or heavy for your can? That's where our bulky item pickup service can help. Before you call for help with your bulky items, be aware that not all items are acceptable for our free curbside service. Furniture, tree trimmings that are properly bundled and no longer than 36 inches, water heaters, and other non-hazardous materials are fine for curbside pickup. Appliances containing Freon such as refrigerators, freezers, and room air conditioners may also be picked up curbside by separate appointment. Unacceptable items include hazardous waste, antifreeze, paints, filters, and tires. We also cannot pick up electronic waste such as computer monitors and televisions, or fluorescent bulbs and household batteries. Construction or demolition materials such as scrap wood, metal, concrete, doors, and drywall are also not accepted. These items may be dropped off in person for no cost at the Agua Mansa transfer station or at one of our Cleanup Riverside events. For more information and the current schedule for these drop-off events, please visit riversideca.gov/cleanupriverside or call 951-826-5311, your one-stop shop for city services. To schedule a bulky item pickup, first call your service provider for an appointment. On the day of your appointment, please make sure that your items are curbside by 5:30 a.m. You may have up to 5 items picked up at each service call. If you have an appliance containing Freon, please call the Appliance Recycling Center of America at 1-800-654-2722 for your free pickup appointment. RPU customers may even qualify for a rebate. Visit riversidepublicutilities.com for information on current residential rebate programs. To find out more about the City of Riverside Trash Services or our Cleanup Riverside events, visit the Public Works website at riversideca.gov/publicworks.
Live local. Help support your favorite businesses with the Shop Riverside Community Card. With over 200 Riverside businesses giving exclusive discounts and offers to community card holders, there's something for everyone. Participating organizations sell these cards for only $15 each, with $10 going straight back to the organization itself, making the Shop Riverside Community Card a fantastic way to support your favorite local group. For more information about the Shop Riverside Community Card and to find participating businesses, please visit shopriversidenow.com. And don't forget to live local. Shop Riverside.
The City of Riverside Public Works Department provides high-quality trash and recycling services for our customers. Convenient curbside trash collection services promote a clean and healthy Riverside. To help us provide you with top-quality service, we ask you to follow a few key rules. When placing your trash containers for pickup, please observe the following. Place each container with at least 3 feet separation from each other and at least 6 feet from obstructions such as parked cars, fire hydrants, mailboxes, and trees. Your bin should be placed at the curb no later than 5:30 a.m. on your collection day with the arrow on the lid pointed toward the street to ensure your bins get emptied. If you are experiencing issues with your trash collection, or perhaps need a replacement for a damaged trash bin, please contact our customer service call center by using the 311 app or website, or by dialing 951-826-5311 to reach one of our customer service representatives. And for more information about trash services, recycling, or bulky items, visit the Public Works website at riversideca.gov/publicworks.
I'm Cheech Marin, and we're inviting you to reserve your spot for the inaugural showing of Cheech Collects. So get your tickets today. We're looking for you.
The City of Riverside Public Works Department provides high-quality trash and recycling services for our customers. Convenient curbside trash collection services promote a clean and healthy Riverside. To help us provide you with top-quality service, we ask you to follow a few key rules. There are 3 different containers for your trash. The blue bin is for recyclables and should only be used for clean recyclable materials such as aluminum cans, cardboard, glass bottles, plastics, and styrofoam. The old brown bin, or new bin with gray lid, is for standard household trash and items not suitable for the other bins, such as animal waste, cactus, palm fronds, soil products, and other waste. The green barrel is for your grass clippings, leaves, weeds, and other plant materials, excluding palm fronds, cactus, and yucca. And please remember not to use any of the containers for heavy construction waste such as concrete. For a complete guide to sorting your trash, please visit riversideca.gov/publicworks.
High school sports are one of the things that make living in California so great.
Athletics builds character, teamwork, physical fitness,
and shows what hard work can achieve.
And some of us can even earn a college scholarship or qualify for the Olympics.
But sometimes the behavior in the stands can overshadow our achievements on the field.
I love it when my parents show up for me.
But being booed for missing a play can be crushing.
Parents who lose their minds when we don't score aren't helping.
It can actually be super distracting.
We should be able to hold our heads high after the match, win or lose.
And remember that refs are people too.
They're trying their best to call a fair and correct game.
Even if you may not love the call.
Seeing and hearing people, belligerently be mean to you, it makes you not want to play anymore. It makes you just want to go sit on the sidelines and cry. Like, it's not fun.
No one should feel insulted or ashamed
because of their race, ethnicity, or gender.
Hey, and enough with all the swearing.
Anger has no place here.
Thank you for being part of the change, and thank you for being there to lift us up.
Live local. Help support your favorite businesses with the Shop Riverside Community Card. With over 200 Riverside businesses giving exclusive discounts and offers to community cardholders, there's something for everyone. Participating organizations sell these cards for only $15 each, with $10 going straight back to the organization itself, making the Shop Riverside Community Card a fantastic way to support your favorite local group. For more information about the Shop Riverside Community Card and to find participating businesses, please visit shopriversidenow.com. And don't forget to live local. Shop Riverside.
High school sports are one of the things that make living in California so great.
But sometimes the behavior in the stands can overshadow our achievements on the field.
I love it when my parents show up for me.
But being booed for missing a play can be crushing.
And remember that refs are people too.
They're trying their best to call a fair and correct game.
Hey, and enough with all the swearing.
No one should feel insulted or ashamed
because of their race, ethnicity, or gender.
We should be able to hold our heads high after the match, win or lose.
The Riverside City Clerk's Office's mission is to enhance community trust and promote equitable public services by providing accessible and efficient legislative support, digital services, and city records to residents, city council, city staff, and business partners. We prioritize fiscal responsibility and adapt innovative services to meet the ever-changing needs of the community. We strive to provide residents and businesses with responsive and optimal services. So what does that all mean? Our lean and high-performing team is divided among three important functions: legislative, administrative support, and resident services. Besides working as a partner with every city department, the city clerk's office is responsible for many public-facing duties such as our passport acceptance facility. The passport team averages over 6,000 applications processed annually, making us the most widely used and highest-performing passport facility in the region. As the keepers of the city's legislative historical record, we are the go-to office for public information requests. On average, our office fulfills over 1,600 requests a year with a 3-day average response time, much faster than the 10 days required by state law. Every 10 years after the U.S. Census, the city is required to redraw its ward boundaries to ensure equal representation, and the city clerk's office is an integral part of that effort. In 2022 and 23, we hosted and attended 40 community meetings to gather input from our residents on how we should reshape Riverside. Visit ReshapeRiverside.com to find out more about this process and to learn about Riverside's new ward boundaries. The City Clerk's Office is also responsible for municipal elections, as well as the onboarding and swearing in of all newly elected council members and newly appointed board and commission members. Our office processes all applications for new members and provides annual training for the city's legislative bodies. We provide staff and legislative support for 8 of the city's 18 boards and commissions. The City Clerk's Office also provides agenda processing for City Council and committees, as well as the boards and commissions that we support, averaging over 200 agendas processed per year. As the City of Riverside's filing officer, the City Clerk is responsible for processing financial disclosure forms for public officials as well as routing contracts for execution. All this work would not be possible without our dedicated team. City clerks truly are the grease that keep the wheels of municipal government turning, and our office is here to support Riverside's residents by ensuring that the decision-making process is transparent to the public, complies with federal, state, and local regulations, and is properly recorded. If you have a public records request, want to know more about the city's legislative history, or have an interest in running for public office, the Riverside City Clerks team is here for you. To find out more, please visit riversideca.gov/cityclerk.
So today we're standing here in front of the Grandmother's Mural, and this is a mural done by an artist named Denise Silva, who is a fantastic artist in our community. And we found this mural when she submitted it for another proposal. And when we, the staff saw it, we said this has to go up somewhere in Riverside.
So I was a little intimidated by the, just setting in a concept, but I thought this is something that I really wanted to do, and actually I just felt really called to submit it. I had become a grandmother, and the way the universe works, it sent this quote in my direction, and it was, "When the grandmothers from the 4 directions speak, a new time is coming." So the 4 directions are represented by the image of the 4 grandmothers: Tongva, people of the earth; Liseño, people of the west; Cahuilla, people of the desert; and Serrano, people of the pines.
When the 4 grandmothers get together, the folklore is that it's winds of change. And what we have done is, so that there is representation all throughout the community, is we have a grandmother at 4 different libraries throughout the community. And so they're all 4 different locations, but they come together here at the main library. And this main library was a big change for the community from what we've had before to what we are now.
Our elders, and them being, people that have given us love, that have protected us, have given us safe spaces. I would love for the community to feel that, because that was an intention that I really put into the work. I really wanted to give our indigenous people of the area, I wanted to give them some representation. I wanted to honor them. I wanted to uplift them. They're a reflection of my own ancestors. They're a reflection of my mother and my grandmothers. And I just hope that other people, especially Indigenous people and people of color, see themselves in the art, and they feel seen and they feel honored.
This was the dedication ceremony for Mulberry Village 10 transitional living cottages that will be available for those who have recently been homeless, that are either living in a shelter or a halfway home or something along those lines, that are ready for the next step, but maybe not exactly fully ready to be 100% independent yet.
Well, this is one piece and one of a myriad of solutions that we need to address homelessness in our city. So this housing will support some of the most vulnerable people on our streets. We need more of it, and housing at all different levels of support. So we have to start somewhere, and this is a really awesome start.
The city has a dedicated case manager that will be providing the support for the residents here. And then we also partner with Riverside Housing Development Corporation, who will be the property manager. And they will be making sure that the property is well maintained and making sure everybody's adhering to their lease.
We're talking about people that will come in here probably with nothing. And so they have nothing to furnish with. So our agreement with the City Housing Authority is that we would work at furnishing these homes by leveraging Habitat's relationships with some of our local retailers. Habitat for Humanity's model is built around having volunteer work as the labor to keep the costs down for the project. Finally getting to this spot to where we are very close to having these residents move in.
It's just so beautiful. I think this has beautified the neighborhood in a way that we were expecting, but to see it come to life like this, it's just a great day.
Mulberry Village is a really important, I think, demonstration of the types of diverse housing that we need. You know, we need emergency shelter for people who need to get into a bed at night. We need stable housing to help people get in and stay long term. But we also need what we call transitional housing, which is here. I think we're going to see this as a successful model that we will be able to replicate elsewhere. The public is eager to see this type of thing. Our community wants to see the suffering on our streets stop. And this is one way, and a big way, that we can help that.
The City of Riverside is pleased to announce a new innovative downtown parking program called Parking Your Way, designed to offer more convenient, accessible, and up to 90 minutes free parking in aggregate each day. Parking Your Way will utilize a web app where patrons can select 30 minutes of free parking in a metered on-street space and/or 60 minutes free in either a public parking lot or public parking garage. Patrons can conveniently pay and extend their parking needs as well through the web app. Parking Your Way will benefit the Riverside community by enhancing the downtown parking experience, leading to improved quality of life and encouraging patrons to frequent downtown establishments. The web app can be used to select free parking options, pay for parking, and extended parking sessions right from your smartphone. To illustrate how easy the web app is to use, let's demonstrate how a patron would pay for parking in downtown Riverside once they arrive to their parking destination. First, I locate a QR code in the area I'm parking at. I use the camera on my smartphone to scan the QR code. The QR code redirects my smartphone to a web page where I can then enter in my cell phone number. Once done, click Proceed. I'm now able to see the different dates and length of time options in that area. I choose to park my car for about 1 hour and 30 minutes, and I enter in my license plate number. Once completed, I then click Continue. The web app now leads me to a payment page where I enter my credit card information. When done, click Authorize Card. The parking session has now begun. I will receive a text message with the session info. I'm now able to see the parking session, the duration for which I have parked, and the payment that I have authorized for. If you frequent downtown Riverside, it may be best to download the web app and create an account so you don't have to enter all the information each time you park. Parking in downtown Riverside just became easier. This concludes the City of Riverside's parking web app demonstration. Thank you so much.
Are you getting ready for your next adventure? The City of Riverside has got you covered. Our passport acceptance facility is open and ready to help you with getting your U.S. passport. Located at 3025 Madison Street in the Public Utilities Customer Resource Center, we're available to assist you by appointment Monday through Friday. Booking your appointment is easy. Just head to www.riversideca.gov/cityclerk/passport to schedule. And don't forget to check back frequently for updates on appointment availability due to cancellations. We can't wait to help you get one step closer to your next travel destination. To apply for a U.S. passport, first check out our helpful checklist. Then head over to travel.state.gov, the official website of the U.S. Department of State's Bureau of Consular Affairs. You'll find all the information you need, including the application forms and instructions, acceptable forms of identification, passport fees, and processing times. Don't forget to complete Form DS-11 before your appointment and bring evidence of U.S. citizenship, a government-issued photo ID, and a 2x2-inch passport photo, or have our friendly staff take one for you. If your passport has been lost or stolen and you are applying for a replacement, you must also fill out Form DS-64 and bring it with you to your appointment if you haven't already reported it missing online or by mail. If you're under 16, you'll need to appear with both parents or legal guardians, and if you're aged 16 to 17, you'll need to appear with at least one parent or legal guardian. If you already have a valid passport and are eligible for renewal, you can only do that by mail, but the Passport Acceptance Facility will be more than happy to review your application at no cost. To find out if you are eligible to renew and begin the process, please visit the U.S. Department of State's website. Once you've gathered all the necessary documents, head to our acceptance facility at your appointment time and pay the required fees. There are two separate payments required: the passport fee, payable by check or money order, to the Department of State, and processing fees, payable to the City of Riverside by cash, check, or money order. Look over our handy passport checklist for the list of fees, and remember to thoroughly review the confirmation email we send you before your appointment date. Keep in mind that the application process can take several weeks, so it's best to apply well in advance of your travel plans. For appointments and information, visit riversideca.gov/cityclerk/passport. Good luck and happy travels!
Yeah. Yeah. All right, welcome back to Riverside TV. We're checking out the first half stats led by Gio Visco. Now, these are unofficial, but the guy has 5 catches for 114 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, the guy's been incredible, Jeff.
Not a bad clip to start the half. I mean, he's had his coming out party here, this new superstar at CSDR.
So California School of the Deaf Riverside leads Fremont in a de facto state championship. Visco number 2, a big reason why, but it's been a team effort with the defense playing well, 2 onside kick recoveries, and a block punt as well. Here's a look at the highlights. It's been a sensational game. The best half for the Cubs all year. The defending state champions have had a rough start to the season. The team went 1-3, coming off of a heart-wrenching last-second defeat in Fredericksville, Maryland, to the Maryland School for the Deaf Orioles. The Fremont Eagles have played well late in the half. There's number 23, Irving Senegal, with nearly 100 yards and a touchdown, but then Visco struck again. This one from 48 on a catch and run, dazzling defenders. In fact, a couple of them fall down. Excellent game for him. And at the half, CSDR leads it off of this 2-point conversion, 2 to end the period, 30-14. What were your takeaways from the first half, Jeff?
Well, I think, CSDR, they've traveled a lot. They've been to Avalon. We didn't talk a little bit about that, but they were over in Catalina. They've been back in Maryland. And I think just kind of you lose the identity when you have all those great players from last year's team. You have 4 players playing college football this year. It's going to take some growing. It's going to take a while. And just like when you have a freshman team, and granted, CSDR doesn't have a freshman team. They have a couple JV games. But, these are the first time these young men are playing football for the first time. So it's going to take, the learning curve usually is about 5 or 6 games, but they seem to have figured it out here pretty quickly, and guys are stepping up. It's like we always say in football, the next man up. Well, the next man are these young freshmen and sophomores and juniors.
Well, the schedule is really working out for them. Today's game against Fremont's huge. Then before conference play begins, they have a bye. So it looks like the team is figuring things out. They have time to figure things out. And I have all the faith in the world in 9-year coach Keith Adams to build a winner at CSDR. Meanwhile, the Eagles came in undefeated. Herminio Gonzalez, the head coach there for the Eagles of California School of the Deaf. Fremont, the team jumped out to an early lead, and it just looked like after that they looked a little bit out of sorts on both sides of the ball.
They did, but I tell you, the defense really came through. Beginning of this game, I thought Fremont was going to steamroll Riverside.
Right, me too.
But that offensive line really kind of, I think they just made adjustments, and now they know their roles on that line, and they've really turned the entire complexity of this game around.
And now the Cubs lead it by 16. We have some sort of delay. I think they're running the clock a little bit now.
I'm trying to figure out. I think there's nobody on the clock. I think
right. Maybe that's the problem.
So we might need a clock operator to start the second half. There it goes. There's the 12.
There it is.
The 12-minute mark.
All right. Now we're just about ready to begin the second half. Again, unofficial stats, but player of the first half, Gio Visco, 5 grabs for 114 yards and 3 touchdowns. Excellent performance.
And that was only the first half. That sounds like those sounds like full game stats.
Yeah, by a veteran, let alone a sophomore. So we'll see how the Eagles come out in the second half. While they struggled most of the first half, they found something late in this kid, Irving Senegal, who had 3 catches on the year. It seemed he had double or triple that just in the second quarter to help will the Eagles back into the game. It's now 30-14, and the benefit of recovering the onside kick for the Cubs to begin, they got the possession to begin the game, and now they get the possession to begin the half, if, of course, the Eagles don't pull a fast one right here.
I'm guessing there's going to be an onside kick, because we've seen it every single time.
Not a bad guess. Hugo Hernandez will kick things off from the 30. Nick Rice, Jeff Gorham, a special edition of Riverside Football on Riverside TV. The wind is starting to pick up at the face of Hernandez, the kickoff man. That may play a role in whether they decide an onside kick. The wind is maybe about 10, 12 miles an hour. It's really picked up this afternoon. He'll drive it against the wind. It's muffed but recovered by the Cubs. That's number 9, Morgan Hawkins, the freshman who caught a huge interception in the first quarter and avoids a turnover here in the third.
Yeah, he got that interception. Almost looked like he was a receiver, he said.
Right.
He was in full extension. Looked great. That's a highlight move.
While he did recover the ball, there is an Eagle down on the field. And he appears to be in some serious pain.
So I had a nice conversation with the referee, the referees at halftime. They gave me a cool coin.
Yeah,
I showed you.
Yeah.
I just gave it to the guys in the van. But wow, they gave me the coin that they flipped with.
You just gave it away?
I gave it away because you know what I was told is the referees gave me this coin and they said, "Here, Jeff, if you find somebody that's worthy, you think could be a referee, you give them this coin." And I read it, and it was the Inland Football Officials Association. So if you want to join and become a referee, you can be a referee in high school at 16 years old.
Really?
By the time you are 18, you could be refereeing a varsity football game. So
Wow.
If we can get this beautiful coin that I have here, it says, join us. Inland Football Officials Association. And on the back, it's officiate to educate. And what you do is you give this to someone, and you tell them that they should be, as we get a good look here. I know we're going to have a camera on this, but if you'd like to join, you got to reach out to the Inland Football Officials Association.com. Right there, and here's the front of it, and here's the back. So if you would like to join, there is a shortage. You can do it in high school. So if you're a high school student, look up the Inland Football Officials Association.com, and you too can be a referee in the Inland Association. So how cool would that be, being a high school
Very
kid?
cool.
You could referee your JV or freshman games, and by the time you graduate, you're refereeing varsity high school games.
Yeah, maybe that's an elective you can have on campus. You want to play football or run track? How about officiate football?
Well, see, they gave me this coin and thinking maybe I would ref, and I'm like, no, I can't do that. But the thing is, I don't know if I want to give this away to anyone because it's pretty darn cool.
Well, for all the folks watching today, first of all, we really appreciate all your support on Riverside TV, and we have much more coverage of CSDR, RCC, and every high school football program in Riverside. But also, shoot, you might have gained a couple of referees out of this one. There's Zaramka on the check down, and he's shoved out near the marker. He needed the 20-yard line to move the chains.
And there's a late flag coming in here. I think our esteemed director and boss, Scott Brocious, should become a referee.
Right.
Give him that coin.
He
Now,
has the bustling calves of someone who can run down the sideline.
Those aren't calves. Those are cows.
Cows?
Yeah,
Is
you
that
say
what they're-
calf, like a
Look at
baby
those.
calf. Those are cows.
No, those are cows. That's right.
Those are cows.
Check out this play again to number 15, Darius Zaramka.
Zaramka, we called his name a few times.
Right.
In the first half.
He's got some young and very talented receivers out there, does CSDR. Cubs with a great drive to begin the second half. I am baffled. I don't get why.
Why are you baffled?
A shortage of officials in the city of Riverside. That's amazing to me. First down, Adams heads to his left, gets a block to the 15-yard line, and dances out of bounds. Rather than the 25, he's out at the 20. That Zaramka pass was wiped out earlier. No penalty here. That's a first down. As we check out this quarterback run again from Caden Adams. Any guesses on your end why there's a shortage of officials?
Well, I just think that there's so many high schools now, and I think with COVID and a lot of the officials at that time, what I was told, a lot of them were retired during COVID because there was no football.
Oh.
So they are in desperate need of officials. And I think if you enjoy football and you're agile enough to get out here and wear a funny-looking striped uniform, come on out and do it.
Big fan of zebras and wild animals.
You know what zebras are?
An animal?
Cows.
Cows?
No, I'm sorry. Horses with stripes.
Oh, what? Really?
Don't they look like that? I mean,
yeah, kind of. Yeah. I thought you were going to go scientific on me, and then I realized, oh, come on.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna go deep on you today.
By the way, I mean you have plenty of opportunities to, but to answer your question from yesterday, they did miss the Great Oak, a great opportunity to have their team name as what, the Great Oaks, the Great Nuts?
I wanted to be called the Acorns, and you can call them the Nuts.
Nope, they're called the Wolfpack. Of course.
That's a goofy name.
Goofy. Yep.
Great Oak. They should have been the
just a
Acorns.
beautiful stadium out there.
And then when they were when they're yelling in the bleachers, they say, "Let's go nuts," and they go crazy. Get it? Yeah, like that. Well, you have the what is the minor league baseball team up in Central California?
I know the Savannah Bananas, where they dress up in those.
Well, you have the Stockton Ports.
There's a team called the Pickles,
and there's
in California.
There's a Nuts one up north too.
Oh man. course, the Storm and the 66ers out here, and the Quakes, I think it's the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. Late penalty flag thrown on the Devin Thornton sack. He might have gotten a horse collar this time. We saw him yank by the shoulder pad shirt last time.
And that's going to be, like you said, a personal foul, horse collar.
Right, he had him stopped on a 3rd down. We'll check out this play again.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That sure looks like he grabbed his shirt again.
Right. Even if he did, by the letter of the law. But see, this is why it's hard being an official. Even we can't help it.
No.
we can't help but criticize.
Well, thank you for joining us, like we said, on our Saturday afternoon, where there is football aplenty on TV.
Right.
I'm glad you guys are joining us because we're much more fun.
And, sellout crowd. You see some of these other college programs unable to fill the seats. At CSDR and all across the city of Riverside, there's a lot of people who love their football and love, their community in Riverside. It's unique. It's totally different. That pass was partially deflected and out of the hands of Zaramka on what could have been a touchdown. But they love their football and their community here unlike a lot of other places. It's incredible to see RCC Saturdays, 3,000, 3,500 strong, to watch the Tigers on a Saturday night when there's so much to do around here and so much to do in California.
Yeah, too much to do in California.
That's right.
But see, I'm
That's
at that
what they all
age.
say.
I'm at the age now where I just want to go home and sit and watch, read a book or watch some TV.
Well, that's too bad. We got too much football this year.
Oh, during football season, I'm all in. But after football, I want to go into hibernation.
Yeah. And catch up on all the stuff you've missed. Like the new Tom Cruise movie and whatnot.
Have you seen that movie? Have you seen Mission Impossible?
I get. Oh no, not the Mission Impossible one, but the.
What else have you seen?
Top Gun.
Top Gun. That's not. Come on, that was last year, buddy.
No, wasn't that this summer?
No, it was last year. I'm worried about you.
I'm worried about you. Oh boy. That's a Caden Adams touchdown run. The junior quarterback with his second on the ground. We saw a determined run in the second quarter. And in a battle for the state, CSDR with the edge up by 3 scores.
So going for 2 as always. And I'm assuming there's going to be an onside kick.
Well, they'll run a trick jet sweep. My goodness, what a play call. Put that one into a college program or shoot even the NFL. They ran a fake speed. They ran a speed option to the right and had their receiver on the right, Gio Visco, break out to the left, grab it, and score.
That was a great move. I was lost. I was watching the quarterback the whole time.
Right. While you may be concerned with me, Jeff, I'm a big Denzel guy, so Equalizer 3 came out. Not as hot of a movie as Top Gun and that other stuff, but it was pretty good.
You went and saw it, huh?
A little violent for me, but it was good.
Great play.
Great play out there. Just like you mentioned earlier with the huddle and how that's implemented into the pro game, I mean, no exaggeration here. These are plays that you dial up in Madden, not quite in a real live football game, but they're executing it very well. And you know what? These colleges and these pro teams, they may as well check out the tape from this one.
Yeah, 38-14. Nowhere near the scores we saw last year, but like I said, these young kids are starting to figure it out. And what are we in, Game 4 or Game 5 now for CSDR?
Right. So the Cubs have scored 52 points going into the game this year. The entire season, 52. They're on pace to have more than that in just this game today. touchback. So maybe the coaching staff held up some of the trick plays and the other tricks for this one today. And now it's out for the whole world to see moving forward.
All right, so what do we got going on out here?
Right. When you were a coach, I'm sure you had some trick plays up your sleeve you'd use for a big opponent like the one they're facing today.
Yeah, but it never worked for me. I just got my butt handed to me.
Oh, man. So
That's
you're saying
why,
your trick plays weren't that good?
No, that's why I'm in the booth now.
Right. Well, it's a lot easier in the booth. Well, Lucas Go was the man who sustained an early injury in the third, but he's toughing it out right now, and that run gains a couple. Even though here there's no referee to yell at, so I guess there's upsides and downsides.
Oh, I bet they yell and scream at him. That's what they use Mark for. They use the interpreter Mark to yell at the referees. I asked him, I go, so when Coach Adams is angry, he goes, oh, yeah, I'm the guy that yells at the referee. And I go, really? You yell at him? He goes, yeah. I gotta do it just like he would do it.
Here's Senegal to the, rather not Senegal, number 22, Kalani Rosby with the catch. Dances out of bounds on a gain of 6, maybe 7 that time. But yes, as mentioned, we brought it up earlier in the game. If you want to join the officiating crew, definitely would be needed in the city of Riverside. Some great officials across the league, so there's some competition out there, of course. Inland Football Official Association.com.
And I suggest everybody, if you're watching this game, if I've always been interested in learning American Sign Language, I say go to Google, look it up, maybe go through a website and learn the basics of American Sign Language. I know I'm going to do that when I get home this week. My wife has a master's in American Sign Language and communicative disorders. Communicative disorders. So, yeah, my wife knows some sign language. I'm going to have to go home and hit her up. But I suggest everybody, if you want to learn something different, some people like to learn Spanish, American Sign Language is a way to go. And I encourage everyone to go out there and look it up and learn to communicate with this great group of people in our organization, or in our city here at CSDR.
On fourth down, they're going to go for it here. Dingle with a quick pass, and Kalani won't get close. Dumped at the line. That's a turnover on downs, and CSDR is really taking control of this one in the third quarter. To your point, I guess this is a good opportunity to mention to the folks watching today and maybe a bit confused about the 8-man football and the deaf schools out there and how the challenges involved with playing in an organized football league like this and playing in the CIF. It's an interesting deal, but it's an incredible deal that brings the community together.
Yes, it is. And I'll tell you, we've been covering CSDR now for the better part of 4 years. And it really, really is a great school. And they do great things with so many different kids. I think they go pre-K all the way past high school and really teaches them the deaf community
down to the 20.
Teaches the deaf community to be so successful in our society because they are so wonderful. They are so smart and so wonderful. And it's great to put a spotlight on this gem we have in the city of Riverside. A lot of great friends I've known through my years here in Riverside have gone through CSDR, and just wonderful, wonderful people.
That pass incomplete. Now, As far as I know, in speaking to folks around here from last year, the spectrum of hearing impairment goes from mostly impaired to all the way impaired, and sometimes it's not necessarily a life thing. It's just something that's genetic.
Of course, of course.
And that just is incredible for these folks to adjust to the new way of life. And it could be something that skips generations, of course. Your whole family can hear. Then, one kid just, 1 in a million chance.
But they are great parts of leaders of our society and do so well at every facet. And they learn it here at California School for the Deaf Riverside.
And they say, with not being able to hear, it heightens the other senses. And a lot of these guys, the state championship players, they were saying, is it harder for you to play football without hearing? And a lot of them say, no, in some ways it's even easier.
Well, you have to be laser focused. You really do. You have to know what each man is going. Each teammate you have to be accountable for each of them, so you rely on each other, which is wonderful. And that's why this is such a great, close-knit of student athletes here at CSDR. And it really starts at the top. It starts with Coach Adams, starts with Noah Valencia, the athletic director, and it starts with the teachers and the community itself. They have just done a wonderful job of teaching these young men and women to be forces right in our community.
Cubs in the midst of a great drive. It's now 1st and goal. And this is to a bigger point about high school football and just high school sports in general, and about how it's incredible the focus that the CIF and just high school in general has had on sports in the last couple of years with, as you mentioned, the flag football. But now athletes can get paid for their likeness too. There's more love and attention going to high school and college football and sports nowadays.
Well, yeah. In fact, I'm going to go back to last year's quarterback, Trevon Adams.
Trevon
Adams. He is playing at Olivet University, and he is trying out this. I can't really say the company who's putting this on, but they are working on a football helmet that has a visor that they can call in place from the sideline. So more innovation within the deaf community, that these helmets could possibly be used in not just in the deaf games, but in real-time NFL high school, where you have a visor and you can read the plays through your visor.
Oh, that is cool. I mean, they're already doing that with VR gaming.
Well, they are doing it in reality. In fact, it will be tested. I can't say the company, but it will be tested in the next couple weeks at that university. And look for it come the day of the Super Bowl. There will be a commercial showing and highlighting this new football helmet.
Caden Adams dives at the goal line, and he gets through the pylon for a touchdown to add on to the Cubs' lead. And that for Adams, Caden Adams, the junior, first year as a full-time starter. He stepped in for Trevon Adams, and it's his 3rd touchdown today in a breakout performance.
The CSDR putting the hurt to Fremont.
Yeah, and he doesn't need a visor to see the plays. He understands all the plays right there. He just takes off and runs, and that's been a winning formula against Fremont. Direct snap, Adams hit as he throws, and he overshoots Visco. A rare miss for those two guys. So the Cubs' lead is 30 with 5:16 to go in the 3rd. No typo. CSDR has had themselves the best performance in a game all year.
Yeah, like I said, really you can tell guys are starting to learn and figure out the game of football. I can kind of equate it as, yesterday my son played his first flag football game. He's 6. But, my wife filmed it, and I got home last night at 1 o'clock after the show, and I watched my son play, and it was just so funny to watch these 6-year-olds play football because they don't know the rules yet. Mm-hmm. And, talking with my wife, and she said, I was a little concerned. She said she was a little concerned because none of the kids looked like they knew what they're doing. But she said she talked to the coach, and she said by, week 3, they're going to start knowing the rules of the game, which is fun. But, yeah, it did look like a bag of cats running or a box of cats running around the field, untrained, but it was fun, and like I said, high school football, you learn how to play, and it takes a while to get used to it.
Yeah, it's like those little league games where the kids are running the wrong way, run to third or whatever.
Yeah, and they're looking at butterflies. Oh, it's the same still as with my son playing football. I'm sure
but he loves it.
He loves it. Anything with the ball he's playing with. He's a golfer. Now he wants to be a high school quarterback. My biggest concern is he's going to be about 6'10".
Woo!
He's
6'10" quarterback.
I mean, my other sons are all giants. My oldest boy I'm looking eye to eye with him, and then my 10-year-old's going to be taller than me the next couple of years, for gosh sakes.
Oh,
but my little one, I shouldn't say this, he's probably my favorite.
Oh, no, you said that?
Yeah, I
but it probably alternates,
depending on the day.
Yeah, on the day.
But see, the little one likes to play sports, so I am all into it.
Right. Well, just, take your time putting them into pads, because that's when it really begins.
I'm going to be like Deion Sanders. I'm going to coach my son.
Now, how cool would that be?
No, it would be horrible. I'd never want to coach my son.
Shoot, Shedeur Sanders in Colorado lost 42-6 against Oregon today.
I figured that was going to happen.
Yeah, right. But
Deion,
welcome to the Pac-12 for whatever it is until they split up.
The Pac-2, you mean?
The Pac-2, that's right. Until they put, as you said, like Sac State and teams like that in there. But oh boy. Is your wife tall? How do you have such tall kids?
I'm a mutant.
You just a mutant?
I'm just a giant.
Interesting. Well, the Cubs are just taking it to this offense today. Number 5, Caden Adams. If his 3 rushing touchdowns weren't enough, a big tackle for loss of Aiden Shoup.
Yeah, this has been very dominant performance from the defense, especially. I mean, they've held the Eagles. What are they, Eagles? They've held the Eagles
51 points a game for this offense this year.
And they have held them in check and kept them on their side of the field for most of this ball game.
CSDR outscoring them 14-0 in the second half and by 30 for the game.
There's ball that got loose. It's on the ground.
Wraps up the quarterback, and let's see how they call this.
I think they're going to call it a dead ball. No, they're going to give it to. I think they're going to give it to CSDR, and yes.
Let's see. Where's the signal?
There's the fumble.
No, they're talking things over right now. You're probably right, but the officials are discussing it. Late in the third, 44-14 CSDR. The Cubs defense already with 1 takeaway today. That special teams with another.
Here's the replay. Yeah,
Adams
popped out, and it's definitely CSDR football.
Caden Adams with his second forced fumble of the year. The defensive numbers have been nowhere near what they were a year ago going into today. This is the team we knew. And, we're not super familiar with, the teams from across the country. I mean, they might have played the toughest schedule out there. I mean, that's my only explanation. Or, they're doing some funny business in other places. New quarterback in the game, Caden Adams is not in there. A big sack. Mario Flores Montoya brings down Gio Visco for a big loss. But that does not look like Gio Visco. Maybe it is. But that could be a guy on a roster we're not too familiar with. 2nd and 15 after the sack from Flores Montoya, his second sack of the year. He flips one out to Adams, who makes a move and is run out of bounds inside of the 20. Jaden Dingle with the stop. California School of the Deaf Riverside, after a bye, they'll open up their conference season against the Calvary Chapel Grizzlies from Downey at Rancho Cucamonga to battle United Christian in their other conference game. Then we'll close the season against Blair, and then there's a school out there called Entrepreneur. Interesting team name.
I think that's out here in Moreno Valley, isn't it?
They say Highland, California.
Highland. Okay.
Entrepreneur High School. Adams back to throw, fires a slant. It was a bit low off of the knees of his intended receiver and incomplete. Xavier Gamboa. Joseph Barrios in the area, number 17. Another great throw. There's Caden Adams. First year as a full-time starter, and he looks very comfortable right now. Adams on a speed option, fakes to Gamboa, jet sweep, and there's Visco to the 10. Upended at about the 9-yard line. Number 3, Aiden Shoup with the tackle. Now they'll mark him back at the 10. In fact, that was short of the first down at the 10-yard line. So the offense will head off of the field. It's a turnover on downs. Not too often Gio Visco gets knocked down on first contact. A great job by the defense.
Yeah, great tackle there.
The Eagles are an explosive offense, but even for this team, 30 points is a big hole to climb out of. We'll see if they can do it.
Yeah, with just 14 minutes left in this ball game, they're going to have to pull off a miracle.
Long way to go for Dingle and the Eagles offense. It's 1st and 10. Low snap. Dingle had a hard time corralling it and is taken down near the line of scrimmage. Xavier Gamboa, one of the first defenders for the Cubs on the stop. Dominic Turner in there too. And this just does not look like the team that jumped out to the early lead. It seemed like Caden Adams didn't have any more than a second to throw the ball on offense. They could do whatever they want to against the Cubs defense. And then Keith Adams must have had some sort of motivation for his players, because, I mean, they look like a completely different football team.
Yeah, night and day as far as that first part of the first quarter. They have turned it around completely.
Dingle juggles another snap, and Adams was there to meet him at the line. Just an incredible game from Adams on both sides.
It must be nice to have be the head coach, and your sons are all the best players.
Yeah,
that have been. We're talking 7 years.
Maybe that's more than just coincidence. Maybe.
I think I want Keith.
Maybe
I want Keith Adams. I want Keith Adams as my dad, for gosh sake.
Oh, please.
I want to be a quarterback. I want to come play here.
Oh man, come on! You could be his dad. I'm just playing.
Whoa.
But maybe that's not coincidence. Maybe you should pick his brain and figure out
what I can do with my 3 boys.
Right. This could be the final play of the third quarter. And it just looks like this offense is a little bit out of sorts, to say the least. Kalani Rosby was the intended target. The Eagles were a run-first football team all year, but the Cubs have forced them out of their game. And for the most part, that game plan's worked out for them.
Yeah, they haven't been able to throw the football because they haven't had time for guys.
Right.
I mean, it's been, you can't run when that defensive line is just getting past, and you can't throw when that pocket closes so quickly.
Incredible game from that front line. You're looking at them right now. Caden Adams, number 5. Dominic Turner, number 8. Kai Davis, number 18. Xavier Gamboa, number 25, just an outstanding defense, and Joseph Barrios to round out that unit, with Morgan Hawkins in the back end joined by Gio Visco. That's the defense for the Cubs of CSDR. An outstanding defense. You're checking them out on the sideline right now, as we have just a few moments left in the third quarter of this one, and when they return from the quick timeout, it'll be 4th and 12. So for those who did not listen to the first half of this broadcast, we have more Riverside TV games coming up this week. Conference openers. Opalani Vaipulu went as far as to say this coming Friday is basically the conference championship game for them against Orange Vista, and that's one of the 2 games we're doing on Friday.
We're going to have 2 on Friday. We're going to have Arlington La Sierra on Friday, and then Thursday night, I believe you and I are going to have Hillcrest Norte Vista.
All right. So it's incredible to think that a lot of this could come down to this weekend. You know, when you look at the standings, sometimes that's all comes down to.
Yeah, remember Ramona won the River Valley League last year, but Hillcrest beat Norte Vista last year. So this is a rematch from last season.
Jeff Gorham always figuring out a way to mention Ramona won the league title last year, even though we're on to this year.
Even though it's my alma mater.
Right.
I love Ram High.
We weren't really talking about last year, but sure, whatever. Go ahead and put that in there. But first outright league title ever for Ramona. That's something to brag about. They are going to punt this one away instead. And it doesn't go too far. In fact, that might be about 20 yards on the punt. That's it. Down by Shoop, number 3, at the 30. 14 seconds left in the third quarter. I am drawing a blank on if they may run the clock in the fourth quarter, but we're at a point margin where that's, I'm sure, up for discussion.
I think we probably won't see a running clock, and I explain why. Is because they're traveling so darn far to come down and play this football game,
right?
And I think you want to give them the entire experience of playing a full game. So maybe you put in some of your guys that don't get to play as much.
Adams takes off and gains about 6. Now, it is interesting. Usually you'll see CIF 11-man teams have anywhere from 80 to 100 guys on their roster, but CSDR has 27 players this year.
And a few of those guys are hurt, so that's going to drop that number, reduce it quite a bit.
Fremont has 26, so you get a couple of guys hurt, and all of a sudden you may need to.
That's when you're hiring the flag football team to put on some pads.
Adams looks deep, fires over the middle to Visco. Not a bad idea. And how about 4 touchdowns for the sophomore, Gio Visco? He's having one of the great games we've ever seen for a Cub, at least in a while, at the receiver position.
Boy, he has been electric here today. I mean, every time they've needed a big play, he has been that guy.
And if he can get any better than this, somehow, some way, I mean, we could start flirting with Trevin Adams territory. Well, maybe not that crazy, but we're looking at a guy that's just doing some big-time stuff today.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever see those kind of numbers again.
Right.
Like I said, he's, what I say, 5.7 miles of football.
That's like
offense.
Bo Bruin's numbers.
Oh, that's better than Bo Bruin's numbers.
Right.
That triples Bo Bruin's numbers.
Adams dumped by Devin Thronton, number 30. Yeah, Bo Bruins. You're saying gray shirt at RCC this year, right?
Yes, sitting out this year, but had a chance to talk with him before last game, and says he has been practicing every day, and leg, he had reconstructive surgery, and the leg is feeling good, and he's running well. There's a replay of the touchdown.
Gio Visco. It's funny. You almost feel like you should give it to him more. He only has 6 or 7 targets. Every time you throw it his way, great things happen. There's number 2, Gio Visco, on the sideline. And usually a guy by about 4 or 5 touchdowns in might start celebrating on the sideline, but it looks business as usual for him, like, give me another, let me score again. There is number 2, Gio Visco, player of the game for the Cubs. Looks like, they actually, while the score, no, if I'm not mistaken, they did not do a kickoff here. Fremont's going to take things out of the 15-yard line.
Well, that's a little different.
Yeah, that's a little maybe the coaching staff felt we're sick of not getting the ball on the kickoff. Let's just grab it. Final play of the third quarter. Jaden Dingle, the junior quarterback, breaks free across the 30. Stiff arm to the 40-yard line. What a run. Finally dragged down by Zaremka, the junior, one of the best tacklers in the state, with over 35 tackles this year now. Brings him down, and the third quarter comes to a close. Cubs 50, Eagles 14 as we go into the fourth after a look at this excellent run. Jaden Dingle, quite the stiff arm there, too, at the very end. There's a look at Jaden Dingle. An opportunity to...
Looks like he is hurt.
Nevertheless, a great opportunity for these folks to fly down, enjoy a week in Southern California. Bask in some sun, maybe go hit the beach.
Yeah, I know the volleyball team played earlier today before this game.
Chance to bask in it here at CSDR in their incredible gymnasium.
We're going to have to cover all these games with the way they played today.
Right. Shoot. Back on track. So we're just about ready to begin the fourth quarter. Glad you're with us, Nick Rice, Jeff Gorham. We've played 3. The Cubs, believe it or not, fell behind in the middle of the first 8-0, and the offense had gone 4 and out, and then, if I'm not mistaken, their second drive was scoreless 2, but then something happened. They turned things around. Cubs in complete control, and Gio Visco started getting involved in the second quarter. 114 yards receiving in the first half, and more the same in the second. 4 touchdowns for him today. 3 for quarterback Caden Adams as well on the ground. Another 4 to his receiver. So shoot, do the math. That's 7 touchdowns from Caden Adams. 3 rushing and 4 passing. That was some tackle from Joseph Barrios.
Barrios just threw him around like a rag doll.
Right. A lot of these guys playing both ways.
You kind of have to when you have such a, there was a coach in Riverside, in Bloomington, for a number of years, a guy named Don Markham. I don't know if you ever heard of Don Markham. Don Markham was the head football coach at Bloomington and Ramona. He won CIF championships. He ran the double wing. He would only carry 17 guys on his team.
Wow.
And they were CIF and state champs many times. They ran the double wing.
17.
I saw them put up a score of 108 points to 20 versus a Harupa Valley team that wasn't bad. Bloomington held the national record for most points in a season that year, and they just played smash mouth football. But yeah, they never passed. In the entire season, they never passed.
Wow.
When I was at Ramona, I was going to be the quarterback. But then Don Markham came in, And he says, "Hey, we're not going to pass. Can you lead a block?" And I said, "No, I can't. No, I cannot.
I'm only 6'8", Coach. I can't lead a block for you.
I'm 6'8". I can throw over guys," but he said, "We're not going to throw." But he ended up winning a CIF championship, going to the finals, I should say, at Ramona, tying Damie in high school. But, yeah, he was a legend. In fact, he was at one time the all-time winningest coach in Inland Empire history until Dick Bruick. Dick Bruick and his son.
The great Dick Bruick.
Dick Bruick and his son are the only father-son duo to have over 500 wins combined.
Wow. By the way, maybe they needed you to lead block on that play. Caden Adams ripped right through it like there was no line.
Ripped through it like cheap toilet paper.
Or Swiss cheese or whatever.
Swiss cheese. Swiss cheese. I love it.
Dick Bruick, that's right.
Look at that little guy.
They're starting him young.
Yes, Coach Adams is working this guy. Let's see if we can do it again. That was a big-time tackle.
Right. Yeah, kept his head down, followed through. The camera just missed it. He had a good one right there.
Dominated.
Do it again.
Number 12.
Oh!
So the clock continuing to run here.
Well, this would be some conversion. 4th down and 15 to go for the Eagles with about 9 minutes left. They have a southpaw in there, quarterback now, sophomore Aiden Shoup. Early movement on both sides, and a flag is thrown. Dominic Turner, the 6'1 senior defensive end, jumped into the neutral zone. 6'1", 245. Not bad.
And that's going to go against CSDR.
Well, I think your proposition was a good idea, but they are running the clock. 8.5 left. This would be an impressive conversion. Eagles playing for pride points now. Here's Shoup, who fakes the handoff and immediately meets the defense. Somehow gets away from the first defender, but is whistled down. He keeps going, but is whistled down. Kai Davis, the freshman, was the one who will get credited with the sack.
Wow, what a great evading though. Did you see him? He was grabbed about 6 or 7 times.
I feel like they should have just let him play on. Do you think this was forward progress stopped? I'm not sure about that. I think he just broke the tackle.
He broke all the tackle. Broke that one too. And that one as well.
Oh, man. Looking like Forrest Gump out there.
Run, Forrest, run.
Right. A timeout on the field. First for Fremont here in the half with 7:20 and change left in regulation. So CSDR has made it to the playoffs 3 straight years. Of course, state title back-to-back seasons. Their entire opportunity to make the playoffs may come down to the conference games in a couple of weeks. I got to say, I think they'll be right back there, even though they've missed all these guys with injuries and graduation.
Well, I think they'd love to have a replay of that Avalon score. Avalon, yeah, they put up, what did they put up, 70?
You're probably right. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think they put up 70. So I'm sure Coach Adams would love another shot, maybe on the mainland this time, playing Avalon High School out of Catalina Island. You ever been there?
No. I have friends who went there, though. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, you need
What is Alcatraz out there? Or?
No, good golly. Okay, Alcatraz would be in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Catalina, you just go
That's where my uncle
You
is
go
at
off
right
of
now.
Long Beach, or you go out of Newport, and you take a nice boat trip. Takes like an hour to go over there. They have bison. You know, they have bison out there.
Really?
Yeah.
In California?
Hey, it's
That's
on
great.
an island, yeah, in California.
Huh.
You got buffalo out there, so you got to go check it out.
I should.
You know, yeah.
I'm going to.
Someday, maybe you'll get married. You take your wife out to Catalina.
Hey, you said I will get married earlier today.
Maybe. I know you.
And then you got to know me a little bit.
And like I said, I know you. I'm not too sure if that'll ever happen. I hope it happens. But if you do, try to go out to Catalina Island.
Catalina. You said it. I think you know a few things.
I know about.
So taking her to
about
McDonald's is probably out of the question.
I don't know if that's all you can afford. I mean, but you know, if you take her to McDonald's, you get her. You know, what would you buy your girlfriend if you went to McDonald's?
The happy value menu, dollar and down.
Oh, you sound like you're a guy in your 20s.
No refills. Okay, I don't know what you're thinking. Jeez. Catalina Island, you got it.
Nice romantic place.
Like going up there to the mountains. I'm a mountain guy for sure.
You're not a mountain guy. Knock it off. You always say these things. You said you were a Beatles fan, but you couldn't name a Beatle or a song. And if I say if you're a mountain, where do you like to go in the mountains then? If you're a mountain man,
Mammoth.
Are you a snowboarder?
Skier, believe it or not.
Are you really a skier?
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, good for you. I'm impressed.
Pizza, French fry, pizza.
You are a strange bird.
Strange guy, I gotta say.
I'm a mountain man. You said Mammoth. It's a rich mountain guy.
Yeah.
I thought you were going up in the mountain in like tents.
You know what, honey? You can order 2 Happy Value cheeseburgers today.
Well, if you're going to Mammoth, you should be taking her someplace other than McDonald's, for God's sakes. See, I know my limitations.
Right. I'm Mammoth. Venice is incredible.
Venice
around
Beach?
here. Yeah.
You like going to Venice Beach?
Yeah.
That's the dirtiest place in the world.
What?
Good for
I felt
you.
that way about like Redondo Beach. Some of the joints more down here.
Oh, Venice Beach is horrible.
Even as much as you think so? Even Santa Monica.
Oh,
Venice?
Santa Monica's fun. Look at this run.
You know, Visco,
Is that our
it's
guy?
so easy for this guy. He's just trotting into the end zone. It looks like the defense by that point didn't sail out for him.
Man, I mean, they just gave up and gave him the score.
A disheartening finish to this game for the Eagles. With a running clock, under 5 left, Cubs in full control. 52 points scored in 4 games this year. 52. That's all the Cubs scored this year.
Yeah.
They've got 56 today.
Well, you know, I'm gonna talk to somebody if we can get them a new scoreboard. I mean, they need one that has like a
3 digits.
3 digits. Exactly.
And they might as well just keep that one on. Because they're going to score at least 100. Okay? As long as they got an Adams kid somewhere on the field, they're going to score at least, or shoot, Visco kid. That's 5 touchdowns for him. Adams throwing in for the 2-pointer, and he's got that as well.
Yeah,
Wheeled in by number 15, Darius Zaremka.
I would venture to say that scoreboard is as old as the school itself.
Oh, boy. Not as old as Poly, but...
Poly, that school's been around since there was cowboys. Cowboys and horse-drawn buggies taking it to school.
You're just seeing tents and cattle and then a random school with a dive board and a state-of-the-art facility.
A diving board made out of old hickory.
Oh, gosh. There's a look at that scoreboard.
Come on.
Okay.
So, come on, CSDR. You gotta get you a new scoreboard.
I mean, everything else looks awesome. Scoreboard?
Red Rage. I got Red Rage.
Oh, gosh.
I do. When I get stung by bees, I get Red Rage.
Yeah, I got a red rage on my ankles right now.
Getting bit out here. Getting bit by bugs on a lovely... No, today's the first day of fall. Did you know that? Happy fall.
Oh, all right. Happy fall.
Happy fall to you.
It finally hits me when it's daylight savings. So I guess we get an hour or something like that in a week or two.
I don't sleep, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
I'm always
For those wondering, yeah, we're rambling. It's 3 minutes left, and the Cubs up 58-14.
58-14.
But, congrats to the Cubs. Their performance today was great stuff.
And those of you that want to check out all of the high school action, check in Friday nights at 11 p.m. for the Friday night pep rally every Friday night.
Is
Like I
that
said, 11
just a
p.m.
highlight show? Are you just analyzing highlights? Is that it?
It's highlights. It's interviews.
Interviews too.
We had
Right?
a food segment last night. I tried kimchi. Do you know what kimchi is?
Kimchi. No.
Yeah.
I need to. There it is. Friday night pep rally.
Well, I tried it.
Where on the broadcast? I'll go check it out in just a minute here.
Yeah, now, it was at the end of the broadcast. I tried kimchi. I dated a girl named Kimchi when I was young,
Really?
but then no, it just sounded it just sounded good.
Oh, you could have rolled
kimchi.
with it.
Chris Chaddock brought in a Korean delicacy. He's been telling me it's wonderful for years. He made it in his backyard. He buried it under dirt. No joke. And I tried it, and guess what? Guess what it tasted like?
I don't know.
Tasted
like
like
fish?
No, it tasted like dirt. It's cabbage
that's what it
they marinate in this dirt. And wow, if you like kimchi, my wife said, I came home, I told her, I said, hey, kimchi. She goes, oh, that's wonderful. And I said, well, it's not as wonderful as you think. But
it sounds cool.
So we're gonna have fun foods with Jeff on Friday night at the pep rally. So if you're a coach and you want to bring me something to try, I'll try. I'm not doing that one chip challenge, though. Have you heard about that?
Is that like the cinnamon challenge?
What's the cinnamon challenge? I don't know.
You don't know the cinnamon
challenge? Let me tell you
challenge?
the chip challenge. So you get this one chip. And it comes in a coffin.
Xavier Gamboa, number 25.
It comes in a coffin, a chip. You eat one chip. If you can eat it, it's supposed to be like the most powerful, hottest thing in the world. A kid died eating it.
Wow.
So they canceled them. But I saw, no joke, I saw one the other day. A kid had one. And he said, "You want to do the one chip challenge?" I said, "No, I do not. I don't, because I've had a heart attack and I don't want another one."
Yeah.
But I saw this kid eat this chip, and I've never seen anyone look near death than eating one chip. Okay, now what's the cinnamon challenge?
Oh, well, it's basically the same vibe. Like you take a spoonful of cinnamon and eat it, and it's like
raw.
Yeah, just
that'll
raw.
That'll kill you.
Yeah, and people are. I don't know if anyone died from it, but yeah, it'll mess you up for sure. Cinnamon challenge.
Have you ever done any of those TikTok challenge things?
No.
No?
Believe it or not, I'm not even on TikTok. That's a step too far for me.
I don't know what TikTok really is. Other than isn't it like dance moves and stuff?
It's like Instagram videos, and that's it.
Oh, that sounds.
And no comment, or I guess there is commenting, but mainly you're just scrolling. Like it's
boy, that
it's
sounds...
not even social media. It's just media.
Yeah, it sounds really dumb. So if you like TikTok, I apologize, but
yeah, you're offending a lot.
But
a lot of people that may like it.
I'm 52, and I can't even run my. I've become that dad at home that cannot change his own TV. The remote's too complicated.
Oh, well, it gets
That's why I need a guy like you to come over and change my channels.
Well, what you got to do is you got to press the power button to turn it on.
I can do that.
I just can't. They do get more. It's dumb how complicated they get now.
I don't play video games anymore because it's not a joystick.
But are you familiar with the new trends? You know, we were telling you about Prime today.
I have that stuff, I think.
You know, people like flipping over a water bottle because we've run out of ideas on Earth.
Is that what?
Flip a water bottle, make sure it stands upright. Everybody goes crazy.
Oh, I can do that. I've seen my kids do that.
Hmm.
I'll try it right now.
Watch this.
Let's watch this. I'm gonna do it right now. No one can see it.
Right.
Okay.
It was up. It was up. The bottle's, disfigured.
It wouldn't stand normally.
Right.
I gave it a shot though.
Player of the game today, Gio Visco of CSDR. Just a phenomenal game. Over 1,000 yards for his career. He's going to go much beyond that by the time it's said and done. Great all-around football player. Safety for the defense. Wide receiver for the offense. New guys in, reserves for CSDR. And one of them forced a fumble. Great job from Kai Davis, the freshman. Well, you know what? Did the Cubs recover? Yes, they did.
They did.
Now have a chance to sit on the ball to close this one out. A great win for California School of the Deaf Riverside. This is some program for folks looking for a home. The Cubs very well could be it because of how well they're coached and organized and the type of opportunities that Keith Adams brings to this program. You'll be able to travel all over the world, apparently, and
honestly, Keith Adams is just a great human being. Like I said, he and I have become friendly the last few years. He's somebody I can reach out to and talk with. And
to be fair, I mean, who haven't you been friendly with?
I'm friends with a lot. I have a lot of friends. Mm-hmm. Many friends. At least I think they're my friends. They might not like me behind my back, but I do think the world of Coach Adams and his family, and what a great win here to win the state of California.
How about that? All right. De facto championship stays in Riverside. Cubs 58, Eagles 14. As we sign off, Jeff, final thoughts of a blowout win for Riverside.
Well, it took a little while for the young guys to get going, but I think they're figuring out this high school football under Coach Adams. And wow, I mean, it looks like they're gaining that momentum back that we saw last year that took them all the way to the state championship.
Reminder, we have 3 games in 2 days coming up in Riverside. A lot of them are going to determine things in the River Valley League and other things, beginning with Hillcrest against who on Thursday?
Hillcrest versus Norte Vista.
Norte Vista, that's what I thought.
And
Norte
then
Vista.
La Sierra Arlington on Friday, and then you and JR will have North and Orange Vista,
All
classic.
right, how about that? Incredible football coming up this week. But to wrap up this week, CSDR delivers a beating of Fremont, back on track at 2-3. The Eagles of Fremont fall to 3-1. For the rest of our excellent broadcast crew and Jeff Gorham by my side, Nick Rice saying so long on Riverside TV. Cubs 58 and the Eagles 14.